much for joining us this morning.
For all the day's headlines, remember the Channel 4 News begins at 4:30 this afternoon.
And the weather is going to be nice, right, Danny?
It's going to be gorgeous, 55-degree mark now and clear and dry. Perfect
running weather.
The runners are going to love it. And now it's time for our LA Marathon special coverage. We hope you enjoy it and hope you have a wonderful day. Here's Fritz Colvin.
Thanks, Larissa. Well, there it is, the largest field in Los Angeles Marathon history. 25,000 registered runners, all from various aspects of life. We have your neighbors who are hobbyists in jogging. We have the fastest humans in the world, both male and female, all in one pack, all that kinetic energy ready to burst forth at about 8:30. This is NBC4's first year to bring you this presentation. We're very proud to be doing that. We have some great and some inspirational stories to bring you. Now, weather is a key element. Good weather can mean the difference between the sub 2-hour and 10-minute times it will take to flirt with breaking records today for both men and women, or it can be that long slog through hot and smoggy conditions when it's just a battle for endurance. Today, I think we're doing okay. Take a look at the current weather conditions. These were taken 10 minutes ago from downtown Los Angeles. We're at 55 degrees, relative humidity 82%. We're clear and sunny. It's a beautiful day. Fortunately, winds are calm, but they are expected to increase out of the north in the latter part of the race. Between miles 7 and 20, there could be a head breeze anywhere from 5 to 10 miles an hour. Not a deal breaker, but any wind is an issue. We're going to update you just before race time to bring you the very latest. Now I'll send you up to the pilot and the co-pilot of our presentation today, Fred Rogan and Tony Revis. Boys?
Fritz, good morning. Welcome to our broadcast position at Arco Plaza. Tony, we have a two-time defending champ returning. Is he going to be able to three-peat?
Well, I think that's why we're here. We're trying to figure that out. He's the only guy that ever repeat as the Los Angeles Marathon champion, but he's got 16 other Kenyans and a lot of young, strong horses out on his shoulder. It'll be tough for him.
Stephen Dungu is who we're talking about.
Stephen Dungu, and he's ran his personal best there last year, 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 27 seconds. And they had a brand new course last year. We tweaked it a little bit this year. We think it's even faster in 2003.
Now, you talk about the course being a little faster this year. What about the possibility, realistically, of setting a record?
Well, you know, we talked to Fritz last night, and he thought there'd be 15 to 25 mile-an-hour winds from the north, which should be in their face in the second half of the race. Now we're down to calm with maybe 5 to 10. The field is very strong. If the winds stay calm, we got a pretty good shot.
All right, Tony, we'll check with you a little bit later on as we get ready to go. Now over to Patrick Healy.
With us here right now this morning is the runner in the field with arguably the best shot at setting a world record today. 90-year-old Ernie Van Leeuwen, also the oldest runner in the field. What's your target time, and do you think you can do it?
Well, under 7 hours, but yes, I'm going to strive for the record.
6:45 for a world record. Are you feeling strong today?
Yes.
Now, what advice do you have for the younger, less experienced runners in the field today?
Start out taking it easy. Build up to it gradually. Don't try to work too hard at first.
And you're going to go out like 12, 13-minute miles?
Yes.
Try that at the treadmill at the gym. It's not easy. Ernie Van Leeuwen, one of the inspirational stories of the day. Chris Schabel has another.
Patrick, I'm here certainly with the Quesada family. Definitely one of the most inspirational stories you'll find in this marathon. This is Joe Quesada. Joe, why do you and your family run?
Well, 2 years ago, my sister passed away from Lou Gehrig's disease right up the street here at Good Samaritan Hospital. At the time the marathon was going on and she was battling the disease, she had been battling it for seven years. So we were inspired by the runners that were going by. We could see it outside the window, and we were inspired by that she had fought so hard for her life and ultimately passed away that night. But we see the runners, we see the pain in the pain that they were enduring, and we were inspired by the runners and also by her. And here we are today, second marathon, running in her honor.
All right, last year 7 of you ran, this year 13. How do you train?
Well, you know, most of us do the Los Angeles Road Runners, and that's how we do most of our training on weekends. During the week, sometimes we train separately, but ultimately, you know, we're a family and we're always together.
All right, Quesada family, high fives all around. Give it to me. Give me some love. Go out there and do great. And Fritz, take it away.
It's going to be fun to watch the Quesada family support one another during the race. Really, one of the exciting parts of any marathon is the wheelchair race. Somebody said it combines the Olympics with stock car racing. And we have a guy who's done it and won it twice, Bob Molinati, who in just a few minutes is going to start the exciting wheelchair race. That and a lot of very inspirational local stories when we return. Please stay tuned.
The LA Marathon is sponsored by Honda.
If you could have a voice-activated satellite-linked navigation system, surrounded by a spacious leather-trimmed interior, where you can stretch out and enjoy a dual-zone automatic climate control system and appreciate the acceleration of a 240 horsepower V6 engine. And if you could have it all in a Honda Accord, why wouldn't you? The all-new 2003 Accord EX V6 from Honda.
You can afford to spruce up the whole house. That's what big brands, small prices is all about at Mervyn's.
There are a lot of maybes in life. Some are really fun to think about. Like the maybe I'll win the Super Lotto Plus jackpot maybe. Hey, why not? After all, it only costs $1 to let your favorite maybe play, skip, and dance around in your head. Super Lotto Plus. It's your dream. Play it.
When you can hear your wedding song 8 different ways. When you can see sunny skies ahead. When you can pick tulips over roses and chicken instead of beef. When you can get a reminder of why you're marrying him. When you can do all this with a calling plan starting at $19.99 a month. That's M-Life from AT&T Wireless. Right now, get a free Motorola 120T phone after $50 mail-in rebate. Hurry in or call 1-888-MY-M-Life today.
Welcome back, everybody, to NBC4's coverage of the 18th Los Angeles Marathon. And Mario Solis is here, and he's going to introduce a lady who we've come to know and love here from our many years of Olympic coverage on NBC4, Jackie Joyner. Mario?
Thank you. That's right. I get to hang out with celebrities today. No red carpet, however, just asphalt. Jackie Joyner. Most athletic programs for kids want to keep kids off the streets, but you want to keep them on the streets, running.
Well, on the street in a positive way. American Honda has been the sponsor of the Student Run LA, and each year that run grows, and the kids are very enthusiastic about running in the marathon, and it's just really exciting. So, yeah, we want to keep them on the street running and having fun, though, in a positive way.
Now, this morning, you had the tough assignment of giving a motivational speech to over 2,000 kids.
Yes, it was over 2,000 kids, and they have the volunteers, so many people that come out and help with the Student Run LA, and it truly makes a difference, and you can see their faces, and they're excited, looking forward to it. And this one we were doing, or the clips you saw before that was when we were stretching about 2 months ago. The kids had already accumulated almost 18 miles, so now they're ready for the 26.2-mile marathon.
You had to show them how to tie their shoes?
No, I haven't shown how to tie their shoes. They know how to do that. You know, if they can do a marathon, that's something I can't do. So maybe I need to check and see if I can tie my shoes.
And it's going to be easy to identify the kids running today, right?
Oh, yes, because you see them in the neon hats, and they have the Student Run LA on their hats. And I just really want to thank American Honda because they give back to the community, and they're giving back to a very, very special group, our future.
Okay, Jackie, thanks a lot. Back to you, Fritz.
It is my great pleasure to introduce to you now the Mervyn's Essay Contest winner. She's Diane Wing, a Long Beach Memorial Hospital nurse. Diane, how did you win the Mervyn's contest?
I was nominated by a lot of family and friends for this award. And
Who thought you had the most inspirational marathon story?
Thank you.
You've run all of the marathons 18 years.
All 18. This will be the 18th year.
What does running the marathon mean to you?
It's an adventure. It's a demonstration of courage and getting out and training and doing things that you don't normally do and sticking with them.
Well, congratulations on behalf of Mervyn's. Congratulations on being a real inspirational story. We've started since the beginning of, we followed since the beginning of our relationship with the marathon, and I'm happy to have you standing next to me for the coverage.
Thank you.
And now we're going to send you out to a guy who has won this marathon twice in the wheelchair competition, Bob Molinati. Bob?
Hey, well, it's a really good thing they've got me on a motorcycle this year because that's the only way I'd be able to keep up with the athletes of today. But listen, we've had great races here in LA, year in and year out, and last year was no exception. Saul Mendoza was taken right down to the line by Ernst van Dijk of South Africa, and it was lights out. Van Dijk took the race. Last year, they both fell on hard times at the end of the season. Saul broke his leg, was unable to train. Van Dyke had personal issues at home to handle. But they're both back this year, and they've told me they're ready to go. 26 miles is going to answer a lot of questions.
Then they come back out. Dragging in place just to keep in the spirit of things. Start on me, and then I'll go to that.
Rich, get ready.
Okay. All right, now we'd like to pitch to the Honda Choir for our national anthem, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to introduce a fabulous group of singers, the Sounds of Honda, who will sing our national anthem.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed, at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars, through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All righty, here we go. This is a very exciting moment. There is a lot of determination and a lot of training goes into this race, and it really can turn out to be some of the most exciting moments in marathon time is the start of the wheelchair race. And Bob has shared a lot of anecdotes with us about how harrowing it can be out there on the course, and many times the general public doesn't get a chance to see how close those guys come and how they draft one another and how they finesse one another out of one another's way. It's a lot of fun. We're just seconds away from the start of the race. There we go.
Courage inspires the streets of Los Angeles. Let the streets of Los Angeles inspire you today.
The sound of the gun.
There they go. The start of the wheelchair race. The two guys we're watching in this competition are Ernst Van Dyke of South Africa and Saul Mendoza of Mexico. They've been touted as the big competition. And what we're going to do now, I think, is to... We will be back in just a couple of minutes with our continuing coverage of the 18th Los Angeles Marathon. Don't go away, folks. All the excitement still to come.
The LA Marathon is sponsored by Mervyn's, proud sponsor of the women's race in the LA Marathon.
You can afford to spruce up the whole house. That's what big brands, small prices is all about at Mervyn's.
If you're like most people, you probably shopped around for a deal on your car. You probably even shop around for your gas. Why are you spending so much for auto insurance? Compared to other national insurance companies, Mercury saves you money.
I'm Danny Freeman. I saved $1,270 by switching to Mercury Insurance.
With over 2,000 agents and brokers, Mercury is ready to help save you money. Call 1-888-4MERCURY now or click on trustmercury.com.
This is a test. This is the big test. Right now at participating Honda dealers, you can join the big test ride. The world's biggest production motorcycles. Goldwing 1800, VTX 1800. And it just keeps getting bigger because you can ride off with low 6.9% APR financing. To find out more, just go to Honda.com and join the biggest test ride in motorcycle history.
This spring, Lowe's is improving home improvement with the brands the pros depend on. From Troy-Bilt trimmers and mowers to Cub Cadet tractors. Lowe's has factory-trained professionals on hand 7 days a week to answer any question you might have. And Lowe's promises low prices every day. Guaranteed. Lowe's, improving home improvement.
Come visit our 2 newest Lowe's, now open in San Dimas and Moreno Valley.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Fritz Coleman. It's the perfect marriage of man and machine. The wheelchair competition is still underway, and they've been out of the gate for 3 or 4 minutes and still a tight pack. Let's go right over now to Doug Kriegel. Doug?
I've been running in place, actually, all morning just to get in the spirit, but I'm not going anywhere. What a sight it is. 20,000 people in downtown L.A. in their underwear. Quite a spectacle. Now, we have some special guests here from Orange County, Garden Grove. Leola and Cameron Logan, a grandmother and granddaughter. Now, wait a minute. Which one's the grandmother? Which? Oh, that's you, Leola. Now, understand you got a little money on the line in this race?
$100.
$100?
Yes. I promised her that if she ran the race, then I would give her what she wanted, and what she wanted was $100. So that's to go shopping.
Well, what about you, Cameron? Are you going to try to beat your grandmother?
I am going to beat her. I am.
Really?
For that money.
You going to win that $100?
Yes.
So you got into this from your grandmother, is that it? What a deal, what a deal. Well, thank you very much. Good luck, ladies. Now, good luck navigating the streets of downtown Los Angeles. Who designed this traffic flow? Boris Yeltsin? After 4 days of vodka? Well, we get an answer to that, maybe, because Chris Schaubel's got the mayor. Maybe he can answer that traffic flow question, Chris.
Well, Doug, all the mayor wants to talk about is how great this is for the city of L.A. Mayor, so great to have you here. Jim Hahn, what is it about this event that keeps it growing, now at 25,000 people?
Well, the Los Angeles Marathon really brings everybody together in Los Angeles, but we get people from all over the world. Certainly, it's the premier marathon here on the West Coast. We think it's one of the premier events in the world, but it's such a great city.
Yes.
That's why everybody comes here. They love seeing all the different neighborhoods of Los Angeles, and Los Angeles has got a lot of great neighborhoods to see.
How about the weather?
Well, the weather, unbelievably perfect. It's a nice, crisp, about 60 degrees now. Hope it doesn't get too warm for the runners, but we'll try to keep it under 70 so that they're going to have some record times.
And in just a few minutes, the mayor will be popping that starter's gun. All right, let's go to Mario.
Great, thank you. Love is in the air. 5 years ago, this couple met at mile 6, running the LA Marathon. This is Brian, Marine. Now, when you spotted her, you had to chase after her for 20 miles, is that correct?
Yeah, I never quite passed, but she did.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I take it you like fast women.
This one.
Okay, so then you guys set up the date, and last year, you got married at the same spot.
Right, mile 6 by the Rose Garden across from USC.
My goodness, so you've made it a whole year.
Yep,
Yeah, and I
Married.
made that promise.
And still running.
Promise to the Rose Garden.
And who are these lovely people?
This is a family and wedding party.
Yeah.
So they were they participated with us last year, and matter of fact, we've got a couple first-time marathoners because they had gotten involved so much with the marathon and with the committee, they had to go ahead and run. So we've got at least 4 new first-time marathoners this year.
So forget about internet dating. This is where love is.
Oh yeah, we recommend it.
Streets of LA.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely.
We're out doing what we love to do.
Absolutely. So this is a real love ride, correct?
Yeah.
I would say so.
At least for you, it has been. All right, so far so good. First wedding anniversary, so congratulations.
Well, thank you.
We hope to see you here every year.
Well, we shall.
We'll keep an eye on you guys.
Great. Thank you.
All right, okay, back to you guys.
Well, regardless of your running skill level, the determination is the same. The sacrifices you've made over the last year, the getting up for the jogs before work, the denying yourself the best foods in life, the going to bed early, the determination is the same. And in just a few minutes, all of that comes to bear. The official start of the 18th Los Angeles Marathon, 25,000 strong, 2 of the lead wheelchair runners right now underway. We'll be back with more of this exciting coverage in just a few moments. Stay tuned.
The LA Marathon is sponsored by Honda.
The same performance and reliability you've come to expect in our cars is also available in Honda generators, mini tillers, string trimmers, and lawnmowers. It's your life. Turn it on.
Team 4 reports.
Oh, man.
Exclusive investigation.
Look, listen, and live.
Telling the untold stories.
I received death threats from the drug traffickers.
And making a difference.
It was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Your #1 source for news investigations in the Southland.
This is a target-rich environment. She simply vanished.
Were you beaten?
Yes.
Team 4 reports, only on the Channel 4 News.
Another rollback. Dares to save you even more. Walmart. Always low prices, always.
Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you.
2 years after the telephone was invented, a telephone company was born. 125 years of sweat, of building networks, of getting the job done. After 125 years, we are just getting started. Looking back, moving forward. SBC.
A simple, universal activity, running, from fresh young legs of children to aged souls of men. It's a sport performed by ordinary folks in search of extraordinary achievement. The marathon is running's ultimate endeavor. Normal people train for months, tread for miles, and suffer for endless hours just to run farther than they've ever run before. 26.2 miles, a journey of more than 49,000 paces. A simple task transformed into a grueling feat of will and fortitude. Today, the Los Angeles Marathon will be run for the 18th time. Over 23,000 everyday people will race not just for themselves, but for loved ones lost, for romance born and bred along this city's streets, and for families separated by generations, but collected together for this single task. The pack will be unleashed at Figueroa and 6th, only to return to Flower and 5th, just 2 blocks away, but 26.2 miles apart. And whether it's run in world record time or walked in untimely fashion, the finish line is the common goal sought by real people in this most human yet incomprehensible act of athletic brilliance.
You are looking live at downtown Los Angeles, where over 25,000 have assembled.
These people are your friends, your family, your neighbors, all with one common goal, to challenge themselves in the quest for excellence. Welcome to our broadcast position at Arco Plaza and the 18th Los Angeles Marathon. If you've never done it, it seems insane. Why would anybody run 26.2 miles? Well, everybody today has a story, from the family that is running to honor their sister's memory, to the 15-year-old who was duped into running by her grandmother, to the couple who was married during this very event last year. Everybody out there has a reason, and throughout our broadcast, we will be sharing their stories with you. If you think about it, running is the most democratic of all sports. I mean, let's face it, you can't suit up and play forward next to Shaq. You can't put on the cleats and take Shawn Green's place in the batting order, but with shorts and a pair of shoes, you can run and strive for personal excellence. Joining me today in the booth, Tony Revis, who has been here for all 18 Los Angeles Marathons. Tony, good morning.
It's a frightening thought. Good morning to you,
You know,
Fred.
it's somewhat terrifying. I must agree with you on that.
Yeah, well, we have quite a field assembled both on the men's side and on the women's side. And leading on the men's side, of course, is our two-time defending champion, Stephen Dungu of Kenya, now 35 years of age. But he did something last year that no one in the history of this race has ever done, and he repeated his marathon title. The question is, can he do it again this year? And if we look at his contenders, number 2, Peter Chebet's just 21, but he ran his debut marathon 2:09 just last fall in Milan, Italy. And we also have number 6, Mark Yadic, who was second here in 2000, but he's coming back on full form after being injured last year. And then Charles Kibawat, who was training with the guy who finished second in this race last year, and then later on went on and run the Berlin Marathon in 2:06. So Kibawat thinks, I'm a 2:06 man just waiting. I think I'll run well here in Los Angeles as well.
You know, what's interesting is you run at a certain level while you practice, and then you believe you're unbeatable because of the competition you're practicing against.
Everyone talks about the Kenyans' altitude training and living at the altitude, but it's not altitude. As we look at number 1, Stephen Dungu, getting himself really prepared, anxious for that starting pistol to be shot off. But the question is, it's their attitude. They train. We were over in Kenya in January. 40 guys training on a daily basis, 22 guys in another training camp. They've already believed their race is already in the bag. They're racing with the best people in the world. I'm not afraid of anybody.
But now, Tony, this course has been in flux for the past few years. They have looked for the perfect way to stage this event. And once again, we have a new look to the course.
Right. Last year, they had a very steep starting area where we went down very steeply the first couple of miles. We've taken that away. We've gone back to the 6th and Fig, the old start, and then we've kept the middle part of this course the same way it's been in the past. So we've got the old start, the old finish, but the new middle part of the course, which should make it faster. And based on what Fritz told us a little bit earlier, we got a good day to be go out running on that new course.
Now, if you're acquainted with the sport of running, you understand that the key element here is not necessarily the course. It is always the weather. Let's find out what's going on there, Fritz.
Freddie, we'll get a quick look at the current conditions. Coach Pat Conley, the official Los Angeles Marathon coach, told me optimum circumstances would be overcast, 44 to 54 degrees at the start of the race, and no wind. Well, we're going to try to supply a little of all of those things. Let's look at the current conditions. We're at 57 degrees, 71% relative humidity, and winds are variable at this moment. But over the next hour or so, may evolve out of the north, be less than 10 miles an hour. And when the runners turn north after mile 7, the northerly breezes, that is, breezes out of the north, may become an issue. By the end of the race, temperature will be about 70, which, believe it or not, is too warm for the runners. But at least it's not extreme. Back to you.
Tony, what is the optimum condition to run in?
Well, 44 to 54. Fritz was not lying. But the thing is, what I found is the temperature's been running up a little bit, but the humidity has been going down, so that's good.
All right, now, covering the men's elite field today for us is 3-time New York Marathon champion, a former world record holder, Alberto Salazar. We'll check in with Alberto in a couple of minutes. With the women's elite field today, New York winner, Catherine Switzer. So we are covered every step of the way along the course. And they'll be able to pick things up that we won't be able to see from here.
Well, again, the Kenyans, there are 16, 17 Kenyans plus 2 pace setters, and they're all sort of getting themselves together. Now, it's not a team. There must be Kenyans from 4, 5, 6 different training camps. Plus, there's 3 major tribes being represented here, the Kikuyu, the Kamba, and the Great Kalenjin, where 75% of the great Kenyan runners come from. So we've got 17 in number, but we've got many different variations on that Kenyan theme.
All right, now with the men's elite field, let's get out to Alberto Salazar. Alberto, good morning.
Good morning. I'm at about the 1 mile point here. Obviously, the race hasn't started, but we're excited to see those runners coming down the hill. It'll be a fast start.
We've talked about the weather. What kind of race do you anticipate today?
Well, Tony, it is warming up a little bit. For most of the Kenyans, still, this is pretty good conditions. They don't mind running in anywhere between 60 to 70 degrees. So I think we're going to have a first half of the race is going to be pretty fast. The big question will be how much do runners slow down as they start to feel the heat over the second course.
All right, Alberto, we'll check with you. You'll be out there every step of the way. Now, you can see the three Kenyans lined up. They're the ones we're going to be keeping an eye on today. And they've been very busy here in Los Angeles.
Well, I'm holding in my hand, as we're looking at number 3, David Kirui from Kenya. He's one of the favorites in the race. He's run a 2:09:40 marathon in Paris a couple of years ago, but he and Ibrahim Miti went and took the trolley by themselves into Hollywood from the hotel, didn't tell anyone, just went over there, and they ended up going into one of the studios and getting some pictures taken of themselves, and we'll show that a little bit later on, but here it is right here. This is Miti and Kirui as the men in black. And to come to think of it, the entire lead pack will be the men in black as the 18th Los Angeles Marathon is underway.
Tony, when you look at the beginning of a race, other than not getting trampled at the starting line, what are you trying to do here?
Find a rhythm. The whole idea is to find a pace that you can just lock into and not think about for the next several hours, depending on, your level of expertise. And that goes from the lead men in front all the way to the last person in back. It's taking your fuel through the distance. That's the key. You run out of fuel. That's the marathon's problem.
Always great pictures as we start a marathon. And the elite field absolutely understands that you pace yourself, that you are running 26.2 miles. On the other hand, do you ever find anybody, Tony, on the local level, out there competing for a personal goal to challenge themselves, that simply break from the gate as fast as they can and just go as hard as they can?
I wouldn't be surprised to find somebody out there, though every year there's somebody who goes out very fast, wearing number 65, 78, or some such. And by the way, we do have a computer here on the set. We'll be able to identify any numbers outside the elites that whose numbers we can read. But there's always somebody that goes out very hard because there's an adrenaline rush. You can't help yourself.
You can see it is a sea of humanity running through the streets of downtown Los Angeles now. And you also have to be very careful. I like to see the shots of the people jumping around. You see the American flag. Everyone out there has a story. Everybody out there is striving for personal excellence. The elite field is one thing, but you can see the thousands of Southern Californians waving and celebrating their achievement today.
This is the end of a very long process. This is 2, 3, 4, 5 months, sometimes a year, that people have got themselves set to run this marathon. You just don't go out and decide at the bar on Friday night that I think I'll run the Los Angeles Marathon. You prepare yourself for months at a time, so there's an enormous personal investment in today's activity.
No, I'm sure somebody has gone to the bar on Friday night and decided to run today.
Well, I'm sure they have too, but we don't want to encourage that.
And how successful they'll be is another issue. When you look at marathons around the country, this marathon really is more localized. It is for the local people of Southern California than, say, a New York or a Chicago or a London.
Well, it has been. I mean, there are people from all over the world who come here, but it's not marketed so much to them as it is for the regional. It's an enormous regional event, but it has the quality, because it is the city of Los Angeles, of having an attention on a worldwide basis. Everyone knows that the Los Angeles Marathon is being run today, and there are people on the internet throughout the world who are following the progress of this event.
Tony, I saw someone running. They had a balloon with a smiley face. Other people there waving the flag. And I think that's a great thing to do today. Is it advisable to carry things when you're running 26.2 miles?
It seems like a really good idea at the starting line through about 3 or 4 miles. And then it becomes a very bad idea as the miles wear on and the weight continues to go. The marathon's it's just too darn far. And it's hard enough just carrying your left arm and your right leg, much less something else like a balloon or a flag or a Roman numeral.
At the beginning of the race, is there really concern that I could fall and be trampled?
Oh, you're scared. You are. You are. It's frightening. You're in a huge mass of humanity where you don't have a lot of leeway. I mean, people are very nervous about that, and the officials have done a great job down on the site of telling everyone, be calm, be easy, don't rush, don't push, because when one person goes down, I mean, it could get ugly, but it's not. It's a beautiful start.
And now we have the lead men's already breaking away just a tad bit, trying to establish themselves in the race.
The 2 men in front are our designated pace setters. On the left in red is Godfrey Kiprotich, and the tall man in the white top is Joseph Kariuki. They are the two best rabbits in the world of marathon running, and they will do a spectacular job of taking this lead pack through the half marathon point.
Now, Tony, when you talk about rabbits, there are actually people out there specifically to pace the leaders.
They're getting paid to pace the leaders.
Well, if they're getting paid to pace the leaders, and they will do so, why don't they just run the whole race and win?
Well, in 1993, Paul Pilkington, the American, did just that here in Los Angeles. And then 2 years ago in the Chicago Marathon, the Rabbit won the race. It's possible they are official entrants in the race. They can go all the way and finish if they so choose. These guys are the real pros of pace setting in the world, and they will not.
And who pays them?
Bill Burke and Marie Patrick.
So the event pays the rabbits.
The event pays the rabbits to come in here and establish a set pace. When we're looking for a fast time, the hardest thing about the marathon is you can't concentrate for 2 hours plus. You have to pick your spots. And if you have to wonder if somebody's going to make a move at 2 miles, we go back to the 1984 Olympic women's marathon. Joan Benoit won the race at 3 miles. She left. Greta Weitz, Ingrid Christensen, Rosa Motor, the other great challengers, let her go. Joni never came back. Well, what do you do when some big star makes a move? But if you know no one's going to do anything for 13 miles, you got half the race where you don't have to concentrate on that. And that means you've got all your psychic power left for the second half of the race. And that's what rabbits really do. It's psychological as well as physical.
And if somebody does make that move early, somebody decides, I'm not going to stick with the rabbits and just run for it, how irritated is everyone else?
I don't know how they're irritated, but as we look at our lead, our back of the Packers, there's our lead women. I can tell you we've got 5 Russian women, 2 Romanians, and 2 Kenyans in this field. Very international.
Catherine Switzer is out there with the lead women. Catherine, good morning, I should say. All right, we're getting Catherine fired up. Actually, so excited to be seeing these women run, speechless. Speechless at this point.
Women have no pace setters. See, they have to be wary at all times. That's why I say it's a little bit more likely for the men to set a course record, because they're being helped, they're being set up. And it's interesting because the women are told during the technical meeting yesterday at the hotel that they're not allowed to have any assistance, and yet the event brings in 2 rabbits to assist the men. I just don't get it.
Now, why is that?
It's odd. We have had disqualification in the past here, not for assistance. But here are our 2 pace setters just rolling down the highway. They're supposed to go out in 64.5 minutes. 64.5 minutes is the time they're supposed to hit. They've got the wind. Now the question is, will the field go with them?
You see the field at the 18th Los Angeles Marathon, and our coverage will continue in just a moment.
The LA Marathon is sponsored by AT&T Wireless. M-Life, your mobile life made better.
When you can hear your wedding song 8 different ways. When you can see sunny skies ahead. When you can pick tulips over roses and chicken instead of beef. When you can get a reminder of why you're marrying him. When you can do all this with a calling plan starting at $19.99 a month. That's M-Life from AT&T Wireless. Right now, get a free Motorola 120T phone after $50 mail-in rebate. Hurry in or call 1-888-MY-M-LIFE today.
This is the latest edition of the Accord. Totally redesigned from the ground up, offering a new level of refinement in style, comfort, power, and safety. Attributes Honda has always been known for. But don't let your eyes deceive you. After all, affordability is also our heritage. The all-new Accord from Honda.
Take the next step to a healthy life. Come to the American Cancer Society's Great American Weigh-In, Wednesday, March 5th at Weight Watchers. We're giving everyone the chance to learn their body mass index, free. Research links high BMIs to increased health risk, including cancer. We can help you bring yours down. To find a Weight Watchers center near you, call 1-800-651-6000 or go to WeightWatchers.com.
A friend is someone you can count on. That's why Mervyn's is a proud broadcast sponsor of the Women's LA Marathon. Mervyn's salutes today's female heroes, over 5,000 women running for charity and the thrill of competition. Mervyn's congratulates Diane Wing, winner of the Mervyn's Female LA Marathon Hero Award. Diane received a $500 gift card from Mervyn's. Congratulations to all the LA Marathon runners, volunteers, and organizers from Mervyn's and NBC4.
Well, about 10 minutes ago, the 18th Los Angeles Marathon began. Everything went well, no problems at the start line, and there you see the Kenyans leading the way. They are the runners to focus on today in the men's elite field.
You see that little yellow box on the side, the little maps the runners are running over. The Los Angeles Marathon was the first marathon internationally to use these computer chips, which are on the shoelaces of the athletes, so that when they start, and here we go to the live start with our rabbits who've been joined by Augustus Kuvutu from Kenya, a young man that I saw take third place at the Armed Forces 30 kilometers, that's 18.5 miles, championship in Kenya. And you can see that he's a very animated, look at, he's got a high back kick, very high back kick the way he runs, and that's a tough thing to carry for 26.2 miles. Our two-time defending champion, Stephen Dungu, almost has no back kick whatsoever, and he's very efficient, and that makes it much better for carrying speed over 26.2 miles. But Kavuto's in great shape.
You mentioned Stephen Ndugu, the two-time defending champ. He is the man considered to be the leader today. The elite men are dominated by the Kenyans. Stephen Ndugu has won the past 2 LA marathons, and his countrymen aren't far behind. They're the best in the world and fly specially to the United States to run. Ndugu, of course, is the favorite and made a bold prediction of who he thinks will win today.
It must be a Kenyan.
It must be a Kenyan.
Yeah.
Okay.
I predict so.
You predict that?
Yeah. It's one of my colleagues here. If not me.
Will with the race?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, he's a very confident individual, no question about it.
He's had a little bit of the flu since he's been in town, and that's got to weigh on him a little bit, because the marathon, marathon, it'll hurt you if you've got no problems. If you got a problem, it's got 2 hours to look for it, and it's a pretty good searcher.
Now, the men and the women and the rest of the field underway about 10 minutes ago. The wheelchairs went off at about 8:10. Bob Malnati is out there, a 2-time LA Marathon winner. Bob?
Well, guys, at 2 miles into this race, these two gentlemen decided to make this a personal battle. The man we're looking at wearing 101 in the red, yellow, and blue skin suit, that's Ernst Van Dyke, last year's winner. The man just in front of him in 102, Saul Mendoza, 5-time champion of this event. Now, these guys have been really racing well together. They just went through the fastest part of the course, which is largely downhill, but now they've hit the hillier section of the course, and automatically Mendoza created a little bit of a gap, but I don't think it'll be a serious gap. Ernst Van Dyke really knows how to race, and he understands the value of this race and how it is that he needs to get back into this race. He will put things together, he will come back in, and he already is closing the gap.
Bob?
Take a look at the start of the wheelchairs, Tony, and really, with those two competitors, there's no surprise. They are expected to battle to the very end.
Right. They were joined by 3 other men as we look at the race start again. Los Angeles Marathon wheelchair division is the strongest on paper. In other words, these are the very, very top wheelchair athletes in the world. This is every bit as, this is better than Boston, better than New York, better than Chicago. And Saul Mendoza, who was leading in as a 5-time champion, but he got beat last year in a sprint. Here is the lead change, and Saul is the best hill climber in the world. That's his big advantage, so he's got to take advantage of that.
Let's take a look at the lead change, and there it is.
Well, now Ernst is going by him. Ernst Van Dyke is the man closest to the camera. He's going by Saul Mendoza. Ernst told me that if they can get it away, that just these 2 guys, they have a good chance at Heinz Fry's 1996 course record of 1:27.10, but they needed just a breakaway with those 2 guys.
All right, back on the course now to the lead men.
And here are 2 rabbits, and I'm wondering where Augustus Kuvutu is, who was with them, in fact, a step ahead of them. And that's the huge mistake. They're the rabbits. What are you going in front of the rabbits for the first half of the race? They're not your competition. They're your assistant. There's no reason to go in front of them. But some guys, some women, some racers, I should say, literally just feel more comfortable in front. They can't run from behind. It's a psychological thing. Other people love to sit. And if you're a sitter, this is perfect for you. If you're not a sitter, you're just anxious. You're just antsy. You want to get going.
All right, let's get out to Catherine Switzer now with the women's elite. Catherine? All right, we're going to get Catherine in here. And she's out there with the women's elite field. Yeah, you were mentioning those that run ahead of the rabbit. But, Tony, if you think about it, it really doesn't make much sense. The rabbit is there to pace you. All you're doing is burning yourself out early.
Yeah, it sounds logical, but sometimes logic doesn't come into play, and people just are the way they are. But it looks like Cavuto's not with them, and I can't imagine he would actually be trying to break away from them right now. Although when I saw him, we see him in third place now. Cavuto, when at that 19-mile race in Kenya that I saw him in, he had a 17-second lead at 4 miles. Now, 2 guys caught him, but he still hung on strong for third place. So he's very, very strong, but he's got to run intelligently in order to win these things.
And you see them now running past the sports arena. And as our leaders are progressing, we still have many local people. Wow, at the start line. I'll tell you one thing. Those folks are in no hurry.
As well they shouldn't be. They got a long way to go. And I think they got nothing else planned for the day.
I mean, realistically, if you are not in the elite field, how much time should it take you to finish this thing?
Well, I mean, there's a guy here, Joshua Small from Santa Clara. He's in the elite bib list. His goal is to get the Olympic qualifying standard for the American Olympic trials, which is 2 hours and 22 minutes. That's his goal. So that's a very high-end, but yet not quite professional goal. Very high-end. Other people, like our 90-year-old gentleman, is looking to break 7 hours or 6 hours and 45 minutes. And that's the beauty of this sport. Everyone has that personal goal, and somebody like Stephen Dungu wants to win for the 3rd time and finishes 3rd, but someone else does break his personal record. Who really won on the day? It gives you the opportunity for everyone to be a champion on the given day.
Those are the folks leading the race right now. When we come back, we will meet the women's elite field as we continue with the 18th Los Angeles Marathon.
The LA Marathon is sponsored by Honda.
Roll sound. It's gonna take one. Okay. How many marathons have you run?
Technically none. None.
0. 3. 4. Let's see you run. What am I running from? Bang!
Oh, yeah.
And say hi to your friends. What's happening?
I'm running. Hey.
Leg cramp. Oh.
Oh.
Okay, that's enough.
Actually, I do have a leg cramp.
And you cross the finish line. And victory dance.
Only in L.A.
Oh, yeah.
The Los Angeles Marathon, presented by Honda.
Are you okay?
Yeah, fine.
You know you're looking good. You're in your neighborhood, and you see all the people on the street now. You know you're feeling fine. You're out in the sunshine, and you feel the grass beneath your feet now. In my mind, I can see your picture. You are smiling and waving at the camera. In my mind, I can see the colors you are wearing, not like any other.
At Mercury, saving money is no accident. Mercury's convenient auto repair program and pre-approved repair shops will save you time and reduce claims costs. This saves our customers money on their policies, too.
I'm Danny Freeman. I saved $1,270 by switching to Mercury Insurance.
You can trust Mercury to give great coverage, great service, and save you money. Call Mercury today at 1-888-4MERCURY or click on trustmercury.com.
Sure, our vegetables are incredibly fresh. But so are our prices. This week at Albertsons. Fresh asparagus, only 97 cents per pound. Fresh boneless beef top sirloin steaks, just $1.97 per pound. And Huggies Jumbo Pack diapers, only $8.99. Looking for thousands of bonus buys? Albertsons, it's your store.
Back live in downtown Los Angeles, the wheelchair event continuing, and this is a battle from very early on.
Yeah, that's Ernst Van Dyke, defending champion, and Saul Mendoza, 5-time champion and second here last year, making the move to break away from the other guys. Ernst told me that last year they were on record pace through about 20 miles, but then they had 5 guys together, all who thought they were good sprinters, and so they started to get real tactical in the final miles, and they lost the record.
Tony, you can see right there, a pass is coming up. And what's interesting here is this is very much like NASCAR. They draft behind each other and then make their move.
Well, right now, see, they're both so wary. They race against each other 20 times a year all over the world. These guys know each other magnificently, and everyone takes their share at the front, because if you don't, other people yell and scream at you, and they say some very nasty things about you. But right now, Saul's back in front as we go back to our lead men, and we can see the man in white. That is one of our 2 Japanese runners who is in there with the 16 different Kenyans, and that's Toshiya Katayama, who was 6th at the big Fukuoka Marathon in December in Japan, one of the great marathons in the world.
All right, we've talked men. Now let's take a look at the elite women's field today. In the women's elite field, Anna Jelagat from Kenya is making her first ever visit to the United States. She trains in Italy, and despite her relative inexperience, could wind up in the lead come mile 26.
I'm happy to be in Los Angeles. It's a good place, and the people here are very friendly. I like it. And my plan is to win the race. That is the most thing. I want at least run a good race here in Los Angeles.
Erica Eklufi from Riverside will also run in the elite women. The former swimmer ran her first marathon just over 2 years ago. But already her time of 3 hours and 6 minutes has her within reach of the Olympic trials qualifying standard of 2 hours and 48 minutes.
This is definitely something that I'm interested in doing. I do work full-time, so it's not likely to become a career. But, you know, making the Olympic trials would be an unbelievable achievement. And, you know, I'm right there. I just need to add a little bit more to my training, and I think I can get it.
And there you see the lead women and elite women leading their pack. All right, now we've talked about local runners today. We want to introduce you to as many as we can. They are our local heroes. Oh, and there's Patrick Healy on the course. Patrick, can you hear me?
Hey, Fred, we're at mile 2. We're running 9-minute miles with a group of LA road runners. Joan, where are you from? Why are you doing the marathon?
I'm from Glendale, and I love to run the marathon. This is my 7th for LA.
And your group's targeting a 9-minute mile time?
Yeah, about a 4-hour marathon.
Now, isn't it tough to run as a group for a whole marathon?
Especially at the first mile, when there's so many people.
Now, running is not supposed to be a contact sport, but there's a lot of pushing and shoving in here.
It should break up pretty soon. We'll be great.
Mile 2 of the marathon, we're still having fun. The pain is yet to come.
You know, we told Patrick that he could ride and didn't have to run. We'll see if he sounds that good at mile 25.
Yeah, he looks really good right now.
All right, coming up, we'll get back to that wheelchair race as the 18th Los Angeles Marathon continues on NBC4.
The LA Marathon is sponsored by Honda.
Behind them is a 19th century cabin with a 19th century roof. Ahead of them is a 21st century modern with a 21st century electrical system. But right now, life is perfect, thanks to a clear sky, a smooth ride, and the electronic four-wheel drive, 260 horsepower Acura MDX.
Sign up with Singular now and get 5,300 minutes for just $29.99, including nationwide long distance. So you can talk and, well, talk some more. Plus, you can get a free phone, too. 5,300 minutes? That's a lot of talk. Talk. But you gotta hurry. This offer ends soon. Singular Wireless.
This spring, Lowe's is improving home improvement. Lowe's has certified nursery specialists who will help you choose the perfect plant, or flower, or planter from our bountiful selection. And with our Green Thumb guarantee, you can turn an ordinary backyard into your very own private park. And Lowe's promises low prices every day, guaranteed. Lowe's, improving home improvement.
Come visit our 2 newest Lowe's, now open in San Dimas and Moreno Valley.
Don't know why you left me out alone. In the dark and lost inside my home. But I'm looking for the answers, trying to find my way back to you.
The guacamole bacon $6 burger, new at Carl's Jr.
Could a popular health trend turn your skin blue? Monday at 5.
The wheelchair division is among the most competitive and intense groups in the LA Marathon. Bob Molinati won the event in 1986 and 1988.
What I had to overcome and what many of the other athletes have to overcome, those are the real story on the inside. Getting to the tape is great. It's how you get to the tape. That's what makes it feel really special, the hard work.
Notice he won in a chair with 4 wheels. Today, racing chairs made with 3 wheels are lightweight and aerodynamic, built especially to race.
Wow, I mean, honestly, I'm jealous when I look at what they race in now. 4 wheels versus 3, old steel, big, heavy 4-wheel chairs versus these sleek, lightweight 3-wheel aluminum chairs, cutting edge, state-of-the-art carbon fiber wheels. Amazing.
And with the new high-performance chairs, now more than ever, this race is not unlike a high-octane NASCAR event.
There's a real parallel between NASCAR and wheelchair racing because a lot of the same techniques are applied. The aerodynamic qualities of the racing chair, tucking in behind one another and trying to save energy, what we call drafting and what they call drafting in NASCAR too. Who doesn't want to be champion of the LA Marathon? I mean, that's a big deal. And if you got a guy sitting behind doing what they call wheel sucking or riding someone's tail for too long, he's going to show up at the final sprint fresh and ready to go. Well, the guy at the front, he's done all the work, taken all the punishment, and then he loses by 3 or 4 inches.
So the intensity is real. Couple the racing spirit with the scope of the marathon itself, and you have the Daytona 500 of wheelchair racing.
It provided me with a memory that'll last a lifetime. Winning an event of the magnitude of the LA Marathon, well, that just burns inside forever. You can bring that back when you need it, and it's really special.
Bob, are you out there?
Guys, we just made a right-hander onto Pico about 1.5 miles ago into the course. Both these guys went up a hill like I've never seen in the LA Marathon. Seriously, this hill must have been a 7% grade. And for those who don't know what a 7% grade is, just go ahead and consider it torture. Well, Mendoza really put it down right there. He went up the hill a lot cleaner and a lot faster than Van Dyke did. Van Dyke actually had to sort of traverse the hill to a degree. Mendoza, on the other hand, went up the hill nice, strong, and steady and opened a good establishing gap. Now, if you look back, just about 20 meters back, Van Dyke is starting to really close in on Mendoza. I don't think this race is over by any means. Both racers look quite comfortable.
Bob, you know, the second half of this course is uphill. Does that give Saul an advantage?
Check out Mendoza's style, too. He's very comfortable and very relaxed today. That's critical in a 26-mile race. If you get yourself into too much of a panic state, well, your body gets too tight. You tie up, and you just can't climb the hills and sprint when you have to.
All right, Bob, we'll check back with you.
But Van Dyke looks outstanding today, too. He's coming up on the back of Mendoza. He's closed the gap. It's down to about 10 meters. They're in the part of the course right now that I like to refer to as the roller coaster. It's up and it's down, and that definitely suits Mendoza because he can climb. He can climb like nobody's business. He's a billy goat.
All right, we've checked in on the wheelchairs. Now let's go to Patrick Healy with our local runners. Pat?
We're just going past USC. The crowd finally starting to thin out a little bit.
Millie, you want to get on TV?
Yeah, I do.
Tell us where you're from and why you're doing the marathon.
I'm from San Marino, California, and I'm running it with my sister who's way up there.
Oh, my goodness, you going to try to catch her?
No.
All right, let's see who else we got. Hey, you don't have your name on your bib. How come? You registered late. What's your name?
John Contreras from Silmar.
Silmar, why are you doing the marathon?
I'm an elite runner. I'm a legacy runner. I've completed all 18 marathons.
You're one of the legacy guys who's done all. What keeps you coming back?
Hey, it's just fun. It's a lot of fun.
What kind of time you shooting for today?
4 hours.
Well, good luck to you. Silmar runs on.
Well, the thing about Pat is he should be running with the elite men.
He looks like he's capable of running at least a little while with the elite men, but he's fine. You notice there's names on bibs. That's another innovation here at the Los Angeles Marathon. We said earlier the computer chips first used here in L.A. Now the names on the bibs, personalized bib numbers, another brand new thing here at L.A. Watch it show up at the rest of the big marathons in the world from this point forward.
Lead men here as we continue.
Right, the guy tucked in with him is number 15, Takashi Haraguchi from Japan, 23 years old in his first marathon. His first debut marathon, but he's a very fast 10,000-meter runner, and appropriately, he runs for the Honda corporate team in Japan.
All right, now we'll take a look at the women's field right now. And how far behind will the women be from the men, Tony?
The men are running just under 5-minute per mile pace. The course record pace for women is 5 minutes and 35 seconds per mile. So it's about 40 seconds per mile slower than the men.
And things are getting very tight in the wheels right now. Back out to the course for the wheelchairs.
Well, again, Mendoza has been caught by our champion Ernst van Dijk. But when you're doing the leading, you're stroking maybe 5 or 6 strokes per minute more than the guy just behind you. Bob?
A bit of controversy in the race. I heard from the second pack that Krieger Shabor, also of South Africa, was a little bit angry. Evidently, both of these racers, Mendoza and Van Dijk, slipped into the slipstream of the bike, and there might be a little bit of controversy at the finish line. I don't know if it'll hold up or not, because those types of things do happen. But right now, this has turned into a really nice battle. Both of these gentlemen have a vast amount of respect for one another. They like each other. They train together in Redondo leading into this race. But right now, it's all business, all business.
Tony, when you see these two as close as they are to each other, basically pacing each other, do they ever talk to each other?
No, I don't think they talk during the race at this stage. No, I mean, they can almost telepathically read what the other person is thinking. They just went through a series of races down in Australia before coming to Los Angeles. They split it. It was the shorter races were won by Saul. The longer races were won by Ernst. But 2 years ago, Saul beat Ernst here in Los Angeles. Last year, Ernst beat Saul. So it's anyone's game at this point. You can't choose between these two fellas. They're two of the best in the world.
And how many lead changes do you think take place in a race like this?
Well, we've already seen 3 or 4 or 5 in the first half hour of the race alone. But it's up to Saul to get away from Ernst. If it comes down to a sprint, it's Ernst's race like it was last year. But nobody climbs like Saul. So when Bob and I were talking about this the other day, we were saying, Saul's got to get 30 or 40 seconds on him before they hit that real long downhill as they enter that last stretch to the finish line.
All right, back to the men's elite field now. And we're going to try to hook up with Alberto Salazar. Alberto, you ready to go?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right, what's happening?
We're just past the 6-mile point. And the interesting thing to me has been that the pace setters, Kiprotich and Kariuki, have been doing a great job of pace setting an even pace, but the pack has often let them go. Only one runner, and that's the Japanese Takashi Haraguchi, is the only one that has stayed with them throughout. And if the others aren't careful at one of these times, they're going to keep going and they're going to make a final break. They've got about 30 yards now in the rest of the field. Chebet was up there for a little bit, but now he's back in about 12th place. So most of the other favorites are content to stay back in the pack about 30 or 40 yards behind the pace setters and behind Haraguchi.
Well, Alberto?
Yes.
You know that, but the Japanese fella, Haraguchi's in his first marathon. Do you think it's wise for him to be the only guy up at the Rapids? Because when they pull off, he's going to be all alone with no experience.
Well, you know, Tony, he's been looking at his watch a lot, and he looks like he's a smart runner. He runs behind them. He lets them break the wind for him, and I think he's very cognizant of the pace that he's running. And he probably, through his training, knows he can run a certain pace, and he must feel confident, even though it's his first one. He knows he's done the training, and he's going to let those pace setters do the work for him.
Well, Alberto, as you well know, there is no nation more in love with the marathon or more scientific or more diligent than the Japanese.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They are very much students of the sport, scientists of the sport, and this runner looks to me like he knows what he's doing. Again, he has always moved right behind the pace setters and seems to be very aware of the pace. So I don't think he's in over his head. He may find out he is with a few miles to go.
But Alberto, at the same time, he's got those big quadriceps, good for the downhills, good for the uphills, but he's also a good shuffler. He's very economical.
Yes, no doubt about it. I mean, he reminds me a lot of Toshihiko Seko, the great Japanese runner of 20 years ago. He's short, compact, looks very strong, very efficient looking, doesn't have excessive knee lift. He looks like he has the type of body that can take the pounding.
Well, there's no question. If he were to win today, it would be a huge surprise and a major upset.
Well, in his debut, it certainly would, but as Alberto said, this guy is a smart guy. He's run 28 minutes and 30 seconds for 10,000 meters, which means he is not over his head at this marathon pace. That's a big-time 10,000-meter time, and he's been running well in Japan. It's their relay, their Ekiden season over there, so he's on form. We'll see if he can carry it.
We'll keep an eye on him, and our coverage of the 18th Los Angeles Marathon continues. We'll be meeting a local family running in the memory of their sister.
The LA Marathon is sponsored by Mervyn's, proud sponsor of the women's race in the LA Marathon.
Moose are the largest of the deer family and vary in size and shape. Their color ranges from a light brown to a dusty or mule deer. Dye and tip under wet through to the skin, like tiles on a roof. They coat their feathers with oil from a special gland and constantly preen to keep those include mallards, red-heads, pintails, hunters, witches, gadwills.
You can afford to spruce up the whole house. That's what big brands, small prices is all about at Mervyn's.
I'm scared.
Don't be. It's all show business. Now Chicago has been nominated for 13 Academy Awards, including Best Picture of the Year. That's Chicago. Chicago.
Betcha.
Rated PG-13. Now playing.
Backed up in all four lanes in both directions, all the way up to the 114-mile marker. This one's turning into a real mess, folks. If you can avoid the freeway at all, I suggest you do. Moving on to the 302 interchange, not much new there.
Maybe.
From power to refinement, it's the best Accord yet. Auto Week magazine.
A wealth of practical riches. The New York Times.
Inside this handsome new structure is a cabin that caters to the driver. Motor Trend.
It just doesn't get any better than this. Car and Driver.
We've always received our fair share of accolades. The key is never being satisfied with them.
The 03 Accord. What a gem. USA Today.
Yeah, that's right. The family.
Back live, the 18th Los Angeles Marathon. You're looking at our lead men.
We are 37 minutes into the competition, and it's like Alberto Salazar was saying out on that lead men's pack, there was a chance that those rabbits and the Japanese runner were going to get away from the pack, but the pack has now closed up, and that's good because they went through 6 miles in 29 minutes, 25 seconds. That is under course record pace, but it's not screaming fast. It's intelligent fast. It's well-paced fast. It's about 30 seconds, 45 seconds faster than traditionally they've gone through. That could be a result of the wind pushing at this point. It's still cool weather. The humidity is down and low, and might be a little bit of an aiding breeze as well. There are a number of factors in play, but right now they're looking good. They're well bunched, and there's a whole bundle of them running fast.
As we continue to look at the men's leaders, we want to remind you that there are many local stories to be told today, and one of them involves a family running for the memory of their sister. Nearly 25,000 runners and walkers will compete in the 2003 LA Marathon. Everyone has a story, a reason to run. The Quesada family runs for one of their own.
My sister, she suffered a lot, and along with the family too, of course. And
this is how we carry her memory.
March 4th, 2001, the day of the LA Marathon. As thousands struggled through the final miles, Joe Quesada and his family sat by his sister Bertha's bedside at Good Samaritan Hospital. Bertha was dying of ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease. In her final hours, Joe looked outside the hospital window and found inspiration.
You could see that these people were not giving up. In that sense, with what my sister laying there and trying to hold on, and also trying to hold on and trying to stay alive, is when I basically decided that it would be a good idea to run this marathon so that I can pay tribute to her and go through some of this pain and agony.
Bertha passed away later that evening. But Joe's idea stuck. Although not one had ever participated in a marathon, the family trained for an entire year. And last spring, 7 members of the Quesada family ran and walked in Bertha's honor. On their minds and in their hearts every step of the way.
A combination of things, memories, because my sister, she was like my friend, and just her suffering.
Youngest brother Claudio hit the wall in mile 22. He felt intense pain, yet gained lucid understanding.
It was very painful, and that's the moment it clicked on me that I remember the pain my sister was going through. And nothing to compare to, but it made me feel actually good that I was feeling maybe a tiny bit of what she was feeling.
This year, 13 Quesadas will run and walk for Bertha in the marathon. 13 people scattered over 26 miles, competing in unison, led by the memory of one woman.
We try to turn something negative into something positive. I mean, yeah, we don't have our sister with us anymore here, physically, but I mean, her spirit lives within all of us, and we try to turn it into something positive.
It's all for her, because it keeps her memory alive in us, and we're doing something special for her.
The Quesada family turning personal tragedy into family inspiration. All right, let's get out to the lead women now. Catherine, you there?
Yes, I can.
All right, Catherine, what's happening?
I got to tell you, this is really exciting because the women are running actually a very erratic pace. They started very, very quickly with a 5:23, but they dropped it down, slowed it down. Now they are only running a 2:30 marathon pace. The reason why that's exciting is every woman in the field, the top 10, are here. Every woman is capable of running a 2:30. The woman who has been taking the lead of the pace most of the time has been Lydia Vasilevskaya, number F4 from Russia. But look at Wile E. Coyote there in the orange singlet, F3. That is Tatiana Pozniakova, age 47, a true contender to win this race.
Catherine, do you think that having Pozniakova in the lead of this pack at age 47 with all that international experience, the other women who are younger are looking at her?
No, they haven't been, because she has been hiding behind the whole field, letting the younger rookies lead the race. If you look at F10 there, for instance, that's Javilia Balchunaita from Lithuania. She's looking for a Lithuanian national record today, but she's not very experienced at age 23. And F8 from Kenya, Jacqueline Torori. This is her first marathon. I think she's making a rookie mistake going this fast, and she's already sweating an awful lot. So who knows? I think that Tatiana has decided, hey, listen, let's spread this out a little bit.
All right, Catherine, we'll keep an eye on the women's elite. And when we return, more of our local runners from Southern California as the 18th Los Angeles Marathon continues on NBC4.
The LA Marathon is sponsored by Honda.
This is a test. This is the big test. Right now at participating Honda dealers, you can join the big test ride. The world's biggest production motorcycles. Goldwing 1800, VTX 1800. And it just keeps getting bigger because you can ride off with low 6.9% APR financing. To find out more, just go to Honda.com and join the biggest test ride in motorcycle history.
Moose are the largest of the deer family and vary in size and shape. Their color ranges from a light brown to a dusty are mule deer. Dive and tip under wet through to the skin, like tiles on a roof. They coat their feathers with oil from a special gland and constantly preen to keep those include mallards, red-tips, pintails, bobtails, witches, gadwells.
You can afford to spruce up the whole house. That's what big brands, small prices is all about at Mervyn's.
I have never been to a Grateful Dead concert.
I don't own a car.
I don't want to be an actress.
I have never taken a mud bath.
But I'm still a Californian.
So I always look for things grown
Right here
Right here. Right here.
in California.
Because I know that buying California-grown products
It's good for California.
It's good for California.
And that's good for me because
I'm a Californian.
makes sense to me.
Be Californian. Buy California grown.
Hi, I have to get copier, laser, and inkjet paper sizes A3, A4, toner, printer ink, letter size envelopes, legal envelopes, padded shipping envelopes, memo pads, legal pads, stickies, labels, and pens.
Okay. Come right this way. We've got everything all together over here. You've got your ink and toner, paper, laser, inkjet, copier, envelopes, memo pads, files, file folders, stickies, pens, ballpoints, felt tips, highlighters. We've got it all right here so you can get going fast.
Office Depot is the fastest way to restock for the new year, with easy-to-find special sections loaded with the essentials. Office Depot, what you need to know.
Men are on record pace. We are back at the 18th Los Angeles Marathon. We went for the men, now we're at the women, and it's a very dense lead pack, all the favorites, and we've only got 2 men in the wheelchair division, but they're 2 of the greatest champions this race has ever seen. So with rabbits, the men are on course record pace. Without rabbits, the women are being very erratic, and with our 2 champions, the racing is very hot in the wheelchair race.
As for our local people, let's get out to Patrick Healy. Pat.
we're on Martin Luther King Boulevard just outside the Coliseum and Sports Arena with Victor Montes of East LA. Deputy Sheriff when you're not running marathons, but you have a mission today. Tell us about it.
We do. We're representing Ability First, formerly the Crippled Children's Society, and we're running to help them raise funds for their foundation.
So how much marathon training have you and your fellow deputies done?
Well, we try and train throughout the whole year, but sometimes just training isn't available, so we do what we can on our spare time.
What's your time you're shooting for today?
We're shooting for at least 6 hours. And to complete the whole thing.
Victor Montes, he's got a cause. We're on Martin Luther King.
All right, and of course the wheelchairs. The cause is win. And win right now. Let's go to Bob Malinotti.
Well, definitely the savvy old veteran, 35-year-old Saul Mendoza has put it to Ernst Van Dyke. Ernst is only 29 years old. I thought he'd be able to come back on Mendoza, but Mendoza played a little rope-a-dope. You know, he took one right out of the books from Muhammad Ali. Early in the race, he followed and he tagged along behind Van Dyke, but now on 6th Street, he's really put it all together and he's opened a very commanding lead. We're still up on 6th Street, and he's climbing quite well. Going up every hill, he's exerted all the energy and power that he's had to. You can see his face grimacing and the sweat just dripping off his face. But he's very comfortable, and he's still very confident, and the gap has really grown substantially. He's gotten the gap to probably, I would say, in the neighborhood of a minute and a half, which is what he needed to do. I felt all along going into this race that what Mendoza needed to do was to punish Van Dyke going uphill, and he's done exactly that. The only concern I have about Mendoza is that he's made constant adjustments to his gloves. I wonder, you can see him reaching down and biting onto the Velcro portion of the glove and pulling tight, and I've wondered if he's had some kind of circulation problems or difficulties with that, but he's coped with every other challenge that we've seen out here on this course. And boys, I got to tell you, I guess he just owns this race. This is the man. He loves LA, and he's proven it today.
He just got remotivated after last year's second-place finish, and he's looking like he's got the gap that's going to get him his 6th Los Angeles Marathon title. A legend out on the streets, Saul Mendoza.
Things pretty tight in the men's event still.
Well, we've got a new player up there running along in 3rd or 4th place, depending on how you want to look at it, as we look at Takashi Horiguchi, the Japanese fellow who is young and untested in the white singlet. But right with him now is his friend and teammate, number 9, Toshiya Katayama from Japan, who's 29 years old, but he has run a 2:11:22 marathon in his past. And he has got experience. He's tall and long-legged, and he knows what he's doing as well. But he didn't go up with the rabbits at the beginning of the race. He has slowly moved his way up, as we're now about 48.5 minutes into the competition.
Tony, could we see a course record today?
Yeah, they're still on course record pace, definitely. And the fact, the more people you can bunch together late in the race, which means there's still racing to be done. A lot of times course records don't come out of time trials with one guy. It comes out of racing, where you don't think about it. You got to run that fast to win the race. So the larger this pack is, deeper in the race, the more likely we are to have a course record.
Now, there may be another record set today, a record by a 90-year-old competitor. It's often said that age is only relative. For Ernie Van Leeuwen, it couldn't be closer to the truth. As most people his generation take it easy, Ernie's just taking off.
They think they're old, and they think they couldn't or shouldn't do it, or they should rest, or they're more interested in sitting down and letting somebody else do the performing. I'd rather be the performer and not the spectator.
At 90, the Encino resident will be the oldest competitor in the 18th running of the LA Marathon. He's competed in the past 8 straight, but didn't start running at all until his mid-50s. His age-defying achievements come with a message. Ernie grew up in Wyoming and is passionate about the environment.
We've got to be more careful about the use of our resources. And so many people, oh, you've got a good idea, but just so long as it's enough for me, that's all I care. That makes me mad. I would like to know that there's something left for the kids.
As Ernie keeps on chugging, his competition fades away. His peers have simply stopped. And if they've noticed Ernie, he isn't listening.
Not aware of any comments. I guess they're sort of used to it.
Oh, Ernie's ultimate goal, run the LA Marathon when he's 100. But really, Ernie, aren't you too old for this?
No. No, I'm going to go after Methuselah's record.
Legend says that Methuselah lived for over 900 years. Today, that name is a synonym for longevity. Perhaps we should say it's just Ernie. And we will catch up with Ernie a bit later on. Now let's get out to Catherine Switzer with the lead women. Catherine.
Fred, let me set the stage for you a little bit here. We're on Crenshaw. We're just going through a water station that we've passed the 8-mile mark in 46:15. The pace has slowed yet again a little bit. It's 2:31. The person who is taking control of the pace, of course, F3 in the orange singlet, Tatiana Pozniakova. But she's got something in her throat. She keeps coughing and choking, and she's leading into a headwind as we go into mile 9 here. Let me just say it's a mob scene right here. All of these guys who are with the women are trying to run the 2:30 pace. They know that they are predictable and they can get a really good time, except they're really pushing them and bothering them. There's nobody in front of us. There's nobody behind us. Just a mob scene right here. They will not be here at the finish. So we will see how these women shake down, but they're all here. All of them are in contention right now.
Catherine, when you competed and you were in one of those mob scenes and you had the men around you pushing you and bumping you, how annoying was that?
Well, one of them turned around and just shoved the guy, and I even gave him a yell and said, hey, give him some room there. They also want to be on camera. This is a big moment for them, but it's very annoying to them because there's a social distance in marathon running, and the women aren't getting it.
All right, Catherine, thanks. We are coming to you from our broadcast position at Arco Plaza, and if we look at the men, I don't know if we can pop up the lead men because...
Oh, there's the lead.
They're
right now.
No, the actual lead men.
I never saw running look so slow.
Yeah, well, listen, and nobody said we could move. But now, Tony, check to the right of your screen in the red shorts. That is our two-time, he's blocked there, but there he is.
There he is.
That's our two-time defending champ.
Right, he's like the third guy in from the left, from the right of the screen. So Dungu's up there, and he's brought himself into position. It's the first time we've mentioned his name, and it's nearly an hour into the race. That's smart racing. And it also means the pace is something all these guys can handle. So Kiprotich and Kariuki are doing the kind of job that's worth the money they're getting.
All right, now we're going to step aside when we come back. The finish of the wheelchair race. So stay with us as the 18th Los Angeles Marathon rolls on NBC4.
The LA Marathon is sponsored by Honda.
Behind them, a little too much fog. Ahead of them, a few too many people. But right now, life is perfect, thanks to purple mountains, fruited plains, and a monumental lease offer on the Acura TL. See your Acura dealer for details.
We were here when your baby was born, when she started school, when she turned 16, and when she learned that taking care of her health was a full-time job. We're Save On, the drugstore you've always counted on for low prices and 24-hour pharmacies. And for more things to make your life better and even easier any time of day or night. Save On. Count on people who care.
If you're like most people, you probably shopped around for a deal on your car. You probably even shop around for your gas. Why are you spending so much for auto insurance? Compared to other national insurance companies, Mercury saves you money.
I'm Danny Freeman. I saved $1,270 by switching to Mercury Insurance.
With over 2,000 agents and brokers, Mercury is ready to help save you money. Call 1-888-4MERCURY now or click on trustmercury.com.
Looking up and looking down, looking at the people all around. City lights turn green and red, colors going straight to my head. I find out something new when I hang out with you. We'll find something to do.
18th Los Angeles Marathon rolls along at 55 minutes into the competition. Our leaders are many. Here are just some of the names: Horiguchi, Kariuki, Katayama, Ndungu. They all sound either Japanese or Kenyan. They're both.
Yeah, there's nobody from Woodland Hills in the lead for the men.
Not yet.
No, okay. And now we take a look at the women's leaders.
Jacqueline Terori on the left, and there she is in our lead. Tatiana Pozniakova, Olga Kovpotina, and Lydia Vasilevskaya.
I got to tell you something. That was very impressive. Not only knowing who's in the lead, but being able to pronounce their names. Let's get out to Bev White. Good morning, Bev.
Good morning. We are at the mile marker number 3. That would be Figueroa at Martin Luther King, where you can still see some of the 25,000 people here in the marathon still competing, still going strong into the 3rd mile, coming past Exposition Park. Now with me is Rafael Osuna, who just completed the bike race, which started at 6 a.m. Again, that's also a 26.2 mile marathon, albeit on a bicycle. Rafael from Upland. Why did you compete?
It's just fun to be out here with everybody. It's kind of unites the whole city. When you go through all the neighborhoods, everybody's applauding for you, and it's just a beautiful thing.
That's right, and speaking of all the applause, you can hear it behind us as the bystanders give much support and love to those dedicated runners who continue, even as we speak. It takes a long time for 25,000 people to pass any given point. We've been watching them continuously for quite some time here at Exposition Park, where it's expected some 10,000 people are standing by as well to cheer them on to victory. Reporting from Expo Park, I'm Beverly White. Back to you.
Hey, Bev, before we let you go, is it warming up out there?
Oh, definitely. I started the day in a windbreaker, and now I'm down to my polo shirt. I think that's as far as I go, but I've noticed some of the runners are peeling layers as well. They've been throwing clothes to their friends and fans in the audience here on the sidelines, and it's a good spot, I think, for acceptance of the weather, because the sun is out, it's warming up considerably, and they're getting comfortable with the run. Nobody appears to be winded, frankly. We've seen nothing but continuous striding, very dedicated, determined people, having a great time on a beautiful Sunday morning.
All right, Beth, thanks very much. We're getting ready for the finish of the wheelchairs now. Let's get out to Bob Malnati.
Him to take this thing home for the 6th time. This would make him one of the greatest champions in any division in LA Marathon history. Saul Mendoza looks very comfortable right now. He's putting together very nice stroke patterns. Just 1, 2, 3, checking back, making sure Van Dyke isn't closing in. Sometimes on the long stretches, you can look back and you can see Van Dyke, but he's just too far back. I think this great champion Mendoza put the dagger in at about 20 miles, and he twisted it really nice going up a couple of the hills, and Van Dyke just gave up. This is the heart of a champion, ladies and gentlemen. Saul Mendoza is going to take this thing home. Barring some kind of a disaster, he's going to win this thing an unprecedented 6th time. Saul Mendoza, unbelievable performance today.
Bob, is Saul having a great day? Is Ernst having an off day, or is this just somewhere in between that?
We're climbing up into some of the final hills of this race. These are the tough miles in LA. Everybody thinks that LA is a relatively flat city, but no, it's not, and especially not towards the end of this race. This is where he would have had to have thrown it all down to beat Van Dyke one way or the other, but he's still going to have to keep the pressure down, keep exerting his energy. You see the way he's adjusting his gloves. I have a feeling he might be having some circulation problems in his hand, but none of that is going to matter now. He's only got about a mile left into this race, and he knows, he can see those tall buildings on the horizon. Everybody knows wheelchair racers are very observant. They don't just race with their eyes, they race with a feeling, and they feel the welcoming feeling coming home. Mendoza knows this race. He knows how to win. He's showing that he's a proven champion, and boy, he's really showing it today.
Well, you know, we had believed that we were going to actually have a race in the wheels today, and we thought it would come down to the two competitors that would battle right to the finish. But Saul Mendoza was on a mission and opened this thing up very early.
Well, he knew he had to use the hills, but as Bob said, he thought he had to use the hills late, but instead he used them in the middle. And there was some talk that Ernst had maybe a little bit of his feeling wasn't fully, he had to fly 30 hours to get here, and he arrived just, 3 days ago. Now, that's no excuse because he won the race with the same conditions last year, but, sometimes it is the hand of God, and it's your day or it's not your day. And today it was Saul Mendoza's day, but he made it his day in the way he raced as well. He was willing to lose in order to win.
And there has to be something very exhilarating about knowing you are this far ahead, that you have gone out and you really wanted to stamp it shut, and you've done it.
Well, yeah, on top of which he knows he's also beating a world-class field, and he's doing it in style. It's not like he's just all on his own on a time trial. He had to beat the best wheelchair racers, the guy that beat him last year, but also beat him just a couple of weeks ago down in Australia at a 15-kilometer and a 10-kilometer road race. So there's no guarantee in this race at all, and Saul is really making a step. It'll be interesting when Bob has a chance to talk to Saul after the race to see why he decided to go that early. Bob, any reason he went that early?
Doesn't factor in. That's not part of the wheelchair division. Saul Mendoza making another adjustment to his glove, dropping down a little bit more energy. His heart rate is going to be going up and down throughout the rest of this race, but there's no doubt about it. The only thing that's going on in this man's heart and this man's spirit right now is the fact that he's about to win this race one more time.
Again, the time he's looking for, 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 10 seconds. The course record established back in 1996 by Heinz Fry of Switzerland.
Tony, this might seem like an uninformed question, but when you're out there, are you concerned about time at this point? Does he basically know where he's at? Is that course record something he is shooting for, or does he just play it out and see what happens?
A little bit of both. I mean, he's been a 5-time champion. He's run 1:28.43 on this course. It's an important course. It's an important course record, but also it's a slightly new course this year, so it's not exactly the same route he's run in his 5 victories or second place last year. So he might be a little bit off of where he is, but he, like Bob said, he knows where the buildings are. He's got a good idea where he is. He knows what his time is. He's aware, I believe, of what the time is and what he's shooting for, because he continues to press the issue.
Now, as we shift over to the men's race, you can see that no one has really broken away from the pack at this point.
We're 1 hour and 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the men's and women's elite competition, and within the next couple of minutes or so, we're going to have our 2 leaders. In fact, I only see one of our leaders right now because Godfrey Kiprotich has dropped from the scene. Our one rabbit and the big tall man in front with the white singlet, Joseph Kariuki, continues to hold forth. But everyone and his brother are in that lead pack. Everyone on our 3 pages of elite athletes numbers are right there, and the racing is all ahead of us.
Let's get out to Catherine Switzer with the women's elite. Catherine.
Fred, we're on Venice Boulevard. We've just gone down that long, long hill. Never before in the history of the LA Marathon have we had 10 women together like this at 10 miles. They've dusted off almost all of the, well, shall I say, annoying guys. The guys who were not in this league, they're no longer there. But now the mob scene is the women themselves. I have to hand it to the woman here, F8 in the lead, Jacqueline Terori. This is her first ever marathon, and she is running like a champion. I don't know if she can hold this pace or not, but I got to tell you, at some point very soon, there's going to be some very dramatic action. In the middle of the race, you see Nudu Olaru. She is limping visibly. She has a very sore left calf, but she doesn't have to run a 2:25 today. Who knows? Maybe she could win this with a 2:32 or 2:33. The point is, it's going to be very strategic, and there are going to be some fireworks very soon when somebody pops out. Okay, back to you.
All right, let's get back to Bob Malnati. We're getting close to the finish of the wheels. Bob.
1 hour, 21 or 22 minutes or so into this race, and we're about to cross under the 25-mile banner. 1.2 miles to go. They're tough miles, but Mendoza has the race in hand. The only question at this point is, does he set the record? Remember, it was 1:27.10 set by the great Swiss racer Heinz Frey back all the way back to 1996, which was the last time Mendoza hadn't won the race, leading into his 5-time streak. But the course has changed. It's changed over and over again in hopes of making a faster course, but they've yet to do that. We've seen some 128s, some 129s, but nothing that's clipped the 1:27.10. It's at hand, it's in hand today as he goes under the 25-mile banner. It's just a matter of how much energy does Mendoza have left. With only 1.2 miles to go.
Tony, when you look at Saul Mendoza, and you look at the history of the wheels, overall, where would he rank in history?
Geez, he's top 5. He's definitely top 5. I mean, you've got Jim Canard from Long Beach was a great, great champion. Right. And Mustafa Badid from France was a great champion. Heinz Frey, a monster. But, yeah, Saul with 6 here, you know, and he's been solid all over the world as well. You can't, you got to put him up there. He's someone who's very well respected amongst his competitors as well. He's a good guy as well as being a great racer.
So as he approaches the finish line now in the final mile, with no one to push him, he only has himself to push.
Yeah, but as he says, he's a professional athlete. Day in and day out, he pushes himself for this moment. This is what he lives for. This is what he trains for. This is no problem. He hurts, and it's painful, but you train for pain, and that's what he's done. And he is right now, if Bob says about 1.2 miles, and they average right around 3 minutes, 20 seconds per mile. So he was 1:22 with a mile to go. He looks like he's got this. And this is, the wheelchair athletes are always the standard bearers for the runners. How the wheelchair runners do on their time predicts how the runners are going to do. So if we get a course record out of Saul Mendoza, things are looking good for the boys.
And you see our overhead view. Here's the finish line. They're waiting for Saul Mendoza of Mexico to cross first and win the wheelchair division today.
And you can see how those banners are just hanging limp from the balloon arch over that finish line, which means still that that's really good wind conditions for all the athletes. And the people who are affected most by the wind are the wheelchairs because of their speed and the way they sit. They catch a lot of wind. So if we get a course record, that means it's a really fast day on the streets of Los Angeles. Obviously. Duh.
Mendoza pacing himself just a tad bit now.
Well, taking a look back just to make sure, but he knows he's in the home stretch. He's made these turns before because the finish is just the same as it was 2 years ago.
All right, let's go to Bob Malnati.
Right now to get the record, but Saul Mendoza is definitively the 6-time champion of the Los Angeles Marathon. What a great performance by a savvy veteran.
The clock is in sight, I think. You've got to take time to get those muscles loosened up. You're leaning over, you're cranking all that time. That's why you see him sit up, regather himself, stretch out those muscles a little bit so he can go back to another series of pushes.
Here he comes.
And we can hear the crowd behind us, and he's going right behind our location, and we're just less than a half a block from the finish line. As a hand crank goes shooting by, there's two divisions in the wheelchair. There's like the push rims and also the hand cranks, and it's much faster because there's gears on the hand cranks. It's much slower, but the elite athletes are in this division, the hand rim division.
Bob.
Together now, he's grimacing, he's struggling, but he wants the record.
What's the time, Bob?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this has been one heck of a performance. He's done it all for us today. Passing through 7th Street, just 1 block to go. It's a fairly steep hill. The crowds are cheering, they love him. Go Mendoza, you can hear it all around. This community loves this man, and he loves them too. Passing through Wilshire, 1 block to go. The crowds are thick, the cheering's loud. The performance has been outstanding. He's trying to raise his arm in victory. He's got the victory. Does he get the record today? Saul Mendoza.
It's going to be close. It's going to be very close. But it's that last hill at the end really takes some of the snap out. All you got is momentum. You can see the officials showing him right to take the correct path, the correct line to the finish. Mexico, Saul Mendoza, 1:27.08, a 2-second course record at the time stands.
That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. He made his move early on. Wow. Today, he was going to win this race and win it in definitive fashion, and he certainly made that statement. Saul Mendoza of Mexico, winning the wheels at the Los Angeles Marathon. Our coverage continues.
The LA Marathon is sponsored by Mervyn's, proud sponsor of the women's race in the LA Marathon.
Moose are the largest of the deer family and vary in size and shape. Their color ranges from a light brown to a dusky or mule deer. Dive and tip under wet through to the skin, like tiles on a roof. They coat their feathers with oil from a special gland and constantly preen to keep those include mallards, red-tips, pintails, butterflies, witches, gadwells.
You can afford to spruce up the whole house. That's what big brands, small prices is all about at Mervyn's.
For families that talk a lot, Singular's got a deal for you. When you sign up for Singular's Family Talk plan for just $39.99, you get 5,000 night and weekend minutes to share, and you can add up to 3 lines for $19.99 per line per month. You can also get up to 4 free phones. And if your family really talks a lot, you'll be glad to know that you can call each other for free with unlimited mobile to mobile. Family Talk from Singular Wireless.
AC on. CD play, disc 4. Find nearest Chinese restaurant.
The voice-activated navigation system responds to 180 commands.
Order Mushu pork.
That's not one of them. The all-new 240 horsepower Accord from Honda.
Like a lot of people, I used to have a problem with my weight. But not anymore. Not since I discovered Xenadrin EFX. With Xenadrin, losing weight is so easy. And I've never had this much energy. Millions of people use Xenadrin EFX because it delivers dramatic results without ephedra. Xenadrin's the #1 weight loss supplement because it works like nothing else.
At GNC.
18th Los Angeles Marathon. We've got a wheelchair men's champion. Now we're looking at the men's race, an hour and 12 minutes into it. And taking a quick look over his shoulder, Augustus Kavutu from Kenya. A hard-charging young man who we keep saying was aggressive when we saw him in Kenya in January and is aggressive on the streets of Los Angeles. He waves to the crowd. He's very animated. And at some point, this comes back and bites you in the butt because you can't carry that animated form for 26.2 miles. It's just too far. There are 2 types of runners. There are floaters and there are drivers. This guy's a driver, and he just uses more energy per stride.
All right, now you talked about floaters. Let's go to Patrick Heaney. Patrick.
We're coming up on mile 6. We've got Ernie Van Loon who's going for the world record. Ernie, I got you going 12-minute miles. You're way ahead of pace. You still feeling good?
Yes, I am.
Now, you have to do only 15-minute miles to get a 6:45 to go for the world record. You got your pace, man. You going to be able to turn down the wick at some point?
I'm going to try for it.
What keeps you going? This is your 10th year of marathons. What's the inspiration?
Well, many things. I know it's good for me, and I am very concerned about environmental causes, so I hope that through this I'll be able to reach more people on environmental problems.
Ernie Van Loon, thank you very much. He's on a world record pace for a 90-year-old.
Let me tell you something. Ernie's 90 years old, and he's not in the back of the pack. He's right there.
My dad's 91, and it's beyond comprehension what Ernie's doing. It really is. It's more impressive than what Cavuto's doing, I'll tell you that much.
Alberto.
Yeah. Hi, this is Alberto. We're at about just past the 15-mile point, and we got right now, this is number 5, Augustus Cavuto. He just ran a 4:45 mile, gapped the rest of the field by about 8 seconds. He's looking really fresh. He really looks like he's more a fast 5 or 10K runner on the track. He's got a very high knee lift, very long stride.
Al, how good, that doesn't speak well for the marathon, does it?
I'm losing you guys, I can't hear you.
All right, well, we didn't ask anything very important anyway, did we, Tony?
No, but he's reinforcing it. Very high knee lift, a lot of drive in the young man. 4:45 this mile. You want to do this at 22 miles, not at 15. We'll see. Maybe he's going to prove us wrong.
We'll find out if the pace continues, if he can hold on as we continue from downtown Los Angeles.
The LA Marathon is sponsored by Honda.
This is the latest edition of the Accord. Totally redesigned from the ground up, offering a new level of refinement in style, comfort, power, and safety. Attributes Honda has always been known for. But don't let your eyes deceive you. After all, affordability is also our heritage. The all-new Accord from Honda.
Honey, I'm home! Make your home comfortable with great furniture from Levitz. Levitz has every style, for every room, at great values, and delivered in just a week. It's one-stop shopping for home furnishings. Right now, Levitz invites you to save on our entire selection of bedrooms and kids' rooms, along with hundreds of dollars in savings throughout the store. And there are no payments for 1 year. Levitz makes home fashion affordable. Levitz, the comfort that welcomes you home.
Show business. Now Chicago has been nominated for 13 Academy Awards, including Best Picture of the Year. That's Chicago. Chicago.
Betcha.
Rated PG-13. Now playing.
A friend is someone you can count on. That's why Mervyn's is a proud broadcast sponsor of the Women's LA Marathon. Mervyn's salutes today's female heroes, over 5,000 women running for charity and the thrill of competition. Mervyn's congratulates Diane Wing, winner of the Mervyn's Female LA Marathon Hero Award. Diane received a $500 gift card from Mervyn's. Congratulations to all the LA Marathon runners, volunteers, and organizers from Mervyn's and NBC4.
Back in downtown Los Angeles this morning around 8:15, that was the start of the wheelchair event. It came down to a battle of two, but in the end it was one man winning. Saul Mendoza of Mexico capturing his 6th Los Angeles Marathon, and we are still confirming it may be in course record time.
Well, it was that kind of day for Saul Mendoza. Sometimes a motivated athlete's the fastest athlete. And I think getting beat last year by Ernst Van Dyke was just the sort of motivation that Saul Mendoza needed, because he came in with this determined look on his face. And when I spoke with him at the press conference, he said, you know, I'm going to work those hills because that's my advantage. And you go into every race saying it's my race. Because I said, after 5 wins, do you think this is your race? And you got it taken away last year. And he said, every race is my race. That's how an athlete has to think. And he proved it out there today.
Yeah, today was his race. All right, let's get out to Denise Valdez. Good morning, Denise.
Good morning, Fred. This is a really exciting time. We just saw the arrival of some of the men's elite runners and some of the last few of the wheelchair competition runners coming. Now, this is actually the home to the Honda Water Station. We're along Pico Boulevard, just east of La Cienega. More than 150 Honda volunteers here. Actually, behind me is all the water stations. In front of me, all the Gatorade stations. And in fact, one of the hardworking volunteers is with me, Lou Staller, who actually ran this race last year, taking a year off to be a volunteer. You're seeing it from a different perspective, aren't you?
Absolutely. This is fantastic. It's great running it, and this is just as cool, helping everybody running.
And talking about helping, you've got friends who are actually running in the race, and you've got some important equipment here.
Yeah, this is a special energy mix that they mixed up, and I'm going to be here for them when they hit the mile marker right here.
And importantly, too, you've got them marked with times and their names, so you know exactly when they're going to be passing through.
Absolutely. It's for the individual and the time that they should arrive.
All right, Lou, have a good time, and we'll see you next year running in the race, right?
So. Great.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
All right, back to you guys.
Thanks, Denise.
Augustus Kavutu, an hour 19 minutes into the Los Angeles Marathon, has established quite a lead. I can't quite see the runner in second, but he is broken away as well. So the race is definitely on the men's race. Kavutu constantly looking around, waving to the crowd, wasting a lot of energy, but he's dead fit, and he's training with the best Kenyans in the world back home.
All right, we'll keep an eye on Kavutu. Now let's go to Bob Malnati. Bob.
1:27:04, new course record holder, 6-time winner of the LA Marathon, Saul Mendoza. Saul, early in the race, it looked like you were playing a little rope-a-dope. You were hanging back, but you showed Ernst Van Dyke. You took him to school today, didn't you?
Well, he started real fast. Actually, the pace that they have early on, it was too fast for me. So the only thing, I sit back and relax, try to hold on because I knew it was too fast for me. So it wasn't a reason that I killed myself. This is a long race, so we really had to save a lot of energy in the beginning.
Did you have any idea about 20 miles that the hills were going to be just as tough as they were?
You know what? No, I actually, last year we did it. It was a big pack, so I didn't pay much attention to the hills, and it was very compact pack. So I thought they were okay, but today I realized that it's still helping me a lot, this kind of climbing, and is where I took advantage today.
Man, I got to tell you, it looked very tough out there, and there were times when you looked sort of uncomfortable. You had a little discomfort. Were there any questionable times for you, or did you feel in control of the race start to finish?
No, not really. Honestly, when I started to pull up, I just got in my rhythm. You know, I do what I have to do up climbing, and I put a small gap, so I got in an easy rhythm, hoping that Ernst Van Dyke catch back, and we worked together. Today was very windy, what make it difficult to race by yourself. So I was hoping he catch back, but also I didn't slow down to wait. So I just was like in a comfortable pace and hoping to get some help.
Do you know how much you loved in this city?
I know. I was so excited. The last 2 miles that I was so tired just to hear my name, and it seems to be that they've been watching the T52 Spanish television, and everybody knows Mendoza, so that's really helped me the last 5 miles, because I tell you, I was pretty much dying.
6-time champion of the LA Marathon, new course record holder, Saul Mendoza.
Thanks, Bob. Congratulations to Saul. We're looking at the men's elite now. We nearly had a pass.
Well, we did on the opposite side of the very wide road. I still haven't picked up the number. It has the form of Mark Yadic, who was second in the race in 2000. Now we're going down a steep downhill, and Kavutu continues to move forward. But somebody has made a huge move in order to make up that 8 seconds, and the rest of the pack still seems fairly comfortable in holding on to their density. It's still very early in the marathon, even though we're an hour and 22 minutes into it. It's still early in terms of the race.
But right now, Kavutu is the man as we continue from downtown Los Angeles.
Looking up and looking
can hear your wedding song 8 different ways. When you can see sunny skies ahead. When you can pick tulips over roses and chicken instead of beef. When you can get a reminder of why you're marrying him. When you can do all this with a calling plan starting at $19.99 a month. That's M-Life from AT&T Wireless. Right now, get a free Motorola 120T phone after $50 mail-in rebate. Hurry in or call 1-888-MY-M-Life today.
Behind them is a snippy maitre d' and a wilted Caesar. In front of them is a family drama playing itself out. But right now, life is perfect. Thanks to a full moon, a powerful engine, and the Autobahn-tested suspension of the Acura RL.
Stop. Wait. Don't eat the cake. Whatever. Yeah. Oh, no!
Got milk?
Could a popular health trend turn your skin blue? Monday at 5.
Back live from downtown Los Angeles, Augustus Kavutu of Kenya is your leader, and certainly he's having the time of his life. He's waving, he's smiling, he's just enjoying himself as he's opened up the lead.
He's a very friendly fella, except to his competitors, who he seems to be running away from at 1 hour and 25 minutes in the race. Well, no, now they've caught him. Stephen Dungu, our 2-time champion, has gobbled him back up, leading that pack. Gabriel Machuri, also Horiguchi, in that lead pack as well. So we have the race in full flower, and now this big train is basically single file, which means Dungu's pressing the issue, and now Kavutu, if he's smart, is going to get on the back of that and just do some resting and let it just be towed for a while so he can rest. He used a lot of energy for no good purpose those last 4 or 5 miles.
Tony, they basically came out of nowhere because he had opened up a good lead.
Well, he had, which means either they pressed the gas or he basically decided to calm down from that 4:45 per mile piece. Well, right now they're all Kenyan in the lead. I spent 3 weeks in January in Ethiopia and in Kenya, and it is a very special place that breeds very fast runners. Opportunities to compete on the roads in Kenya are few and far between, especially for young, unproven talent. The Armed Forces 30K Road Championships then serves as the Kenyan version of Star Search. For the last 3 years, the winner of the Los Angeles Marathon has emerged from these Armed Forces Championships. 2 years ago was an unknown Benson Beatty taking second here in Nairobi, then going on 2 months later to win in Los Angeles. Last year, Stephen Dungu took third at the Armed Forces 30K and then defended his title in Los Angeles in a personal best 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 27 seconds. This year, the Armed Forces 30K turned into a 3-man battle in the final 5 miles, including LA-bound Augustus Kavutu in white. In the end, after leading for 15 miles, Kavutu came home in third as his final tune-up for LA. In 11th position comes Stephen Ndungu, 2 minutes behind the winner. Not a good day for him.
I've seen my weakness, and within the 2 to 3 weeks, I think I'm going to rectify my problems, and maybe in the 4th week, I'll be perfect and ready for LA.
You know, there's no immaculate aid stations in this race. There isn't any pre-race pasta party. They'll even stop the traffic as if that were possible in Nairobi. But if you're looking for the seeds of Kenyan greatness in distance running, all you have to do is look into the eyes of any of these young men who only ask for an opportunity to showcase their talent. And here we are with the leaders, 4 strong, all Kenyan. And in the lead, surprisingly, or not surprisingly, are 2 champions. Stephen Dungu in the red shorts. And I think it's hard for me to see, but I thought it was Benson Beatty, the 2000 champion, or the 2000 champion with him. But it's hard for me to see at this angle. But it looks like Yadic behind him and Kavutu trying to hold fast. But in that 30K race that we just showed in Kenya, This guy had a big lead, went out fast, and was waving at people, and then two guys caught him and passed him at the end. That's the nature, and he's falling off the pace right now. You can't look at Dungu's heel lift and his knee lift. He's got no knee lift. He's efficient as heck. He's a smart, wily old veteran. He knows how to win, and he knows that the first 15 or 20 miles of this marathon means nothing. You run for 20, you race for 6.
All right, we'll keep an eye on them. Now let's get out to Pat Healy. Pat?
We've just turned south on Arlington. We're with the Quesada family. Ramona, do the honor of introductions for us.
Yes, I'm Ramona, and we are doing this marathon in honor of my sister.
All right, who are you doing it with today? That's Joe. Who else we have?
This is Joe, my brother, my sister-in-law, my husband, and there's other members up ahead.
13 in all today,
yes,
right?
13 in all.
All right, let's ask Joe. How are you holding up?
Not too bad. It's real early in the race, in the marathon here, so I don't feel bad. I feel real good.
Kind of a hot day.
Yeah, it's a warm day out. Yeah, not the ideal for a marathon, especially as the day goes on, but still not bad. Not bad. Can't complain. Feels good.
This for you, for the Quesada family, it's more than a marathon. You could almost call it a spiritual journey.
Absolutely, yeah. Like my sister said earlier, we're doing...
Oh, we lost Ramona. Oh, good.
Figured it. Yeah, we're doing this in honor of my sister who passed away of Lou Gehrig's disease a couple of years ago. And as a matter of fact, on the day of the marathon. So
exactly.
What we're doing here is, to pay tribute to her and honor kind of
Okay, hang on a second. The cutaway, they're coming back.
All right, Pat, thanks very much. And the Quesada family, of course, it's a pleasure to see them on the telecast. Let's get out to Catherine Switzer for the women. Catherine.
We're looking at the back of Nuda Alaru, and I think she's going to be the first casualty of this race, guys. The problem is that her left calf heavily bandaged. She's been training in Romania where it's been freezing cold. These forest paths she's been training on have iced over. She had to train on the roads. It pulled her calf muscle, and she's really, really hurting here. But once you lose track of the pack in front of you, and they are all there, the elastic band breaks, and you can't keep in contact. They're all here. There's going to be other breaks in this race coming soon.
Hey, Catherine, how seriously can you injure yourself running when you're that sore?
Well, she can't make her way from it, Fred, because she's either going to have to stop and find help and get in, but if she's going to stick in the race, she's got to stay with the lead pack because the whole momentum of the race is right here with them.
All right, Catherine, thanks. We heard a mention of the weather by the Quesada family and how that affects the event. Let's get out to Fritz Coleman. Fritz?
Hi, Freddie. Well, we heard it when Patrick was talking to the Quesada family. Now the weather's starting to be a factor. When you get over 65 degrees, clear skies, blazing sun, it really is a factor. It's hard for people who do not marathon to realize that anything out of the 50s can be an endurance problem, especially for the really competitive runners. Now, when you turned northbound after mile 7, the northerly breezes, the winds out of the north, 5 to 10 miles an hour, started to be a factor as well. So in the last third of this race, the last half hour in the men's elite, it's really going to be an issue. Let me set a scene for you while we're here. We're on the Honda Awards presentation stage. At the end of both the men's and the women's competition, a few things will happen. The runners will have already received their medals. However, Bill Burke, who is the founder of the Los Angeles Marathon, and Mayor Hahn will present the men's and ladies winners with the official wreath. And then Mr. Hyogo, who is the senior vice president of Honda America, will present them with keys to these beautiful cars. And we'll have a little bit of a ceremony there. That's just a little something to come a little later on. Back to you guys.
All right, Fritz, thanks. Again, here are your lead men.
Well, we'd like to be able to, the sun is in their face, and it's hard to pick up those numbers, but we know it's Dungu in the lead. And he knows he has no kick. His efficiency is both his asset and his detriment because he can't lift and finish fast. He knows that. The way he wins these things is by applying enormous pressure from this point forward, hoping to break away and having a cushion just like Saul Mendoza did in the wheelchair competition. He's afraid of anyone who's behind him late in the race because he can't lift those knees and sprint. Therefore, he's just going to apply pressure. And every once in a while, you actually see him weaving across the street because he doesn't want to have those guys drafting off of him as well. So he's using every tactic he possibly can to try to put up some gap. They're at the 18.5-mile mark right now.
And leading them is something very special and very unique. It's the first time we have seen that happen here in Los Angeles. It's the Honda FCX, the nation's first certified fuel cell car. It's being leased by the city of Los Angeles in normal everyday use on a day-to-day basis, just like any other pool vehicle. The hydrogen-powered FCX is the only fuel cell vehicle certified by the California Air Resource Board and US EPA for commercial use. Honda plans to lease about 30 fuel cell cars in California and Japan during the next 2 to 3 years. With an output of up to 80 horsepower, acceleration is similar to a Honda Civic. Water vapor is the only exhaust. So, an innovation here at the marathon this year.
They started using electric cars years ago in the marathon in order to try to not have exhaust fumes go into the runner's face. This is a big improvement.
And we'll continue from downtown Los Angeles after this.
Moose are the largest of the deer family and vary in size and shape. Their color ranges from a light brown to a dusty or mule deer. Dive and tip under wet through to the skin, like tiles on a roof. They coat their feathers with oil from a special gland and constantly preen to keep those include mallards, red-heads, pintails, buzzards, witches, gadwills.
You can afford to spruce up the whole house. That's what big brands, small prices is all about at Mervyn's.
Roll sound. Okay, take one. Okay. How many marathons have you run?
Technically none.
None.
0.
3.
4. Uh-huh. Let's see you run. What am I running from? Bang!
Oh, yeah.
And say hi to your friends. What's happening?
I'm running. Hey.
Leg cramp. Oh.
Oh.
Okay, that's enough.
Actually, I do have a leg cramp.
And you cross the finish line. And victory dance.
Only in L.A.
Oh, yeah.
Los Angeles Marathon, presented by Honda.
Are you okay?
Yeah, fine.
If I should stay, I would only be in your way. So I'll go, but I know I'll think of you each step of the way. And I will always love you. I will always love you. I will always love you.
Verizon. Make progress every day.
The 18th Los Angeles Marathon really beginning to heat up. We've got a 3-man tussle in the elite male race, and it is, God bless him, Stephen Dungu, 2-time defending champion, Benson Beatty, the 2000 champion, Mark Yadic, the 2000 runner-up. And Alberto Salazar is with our leaders, but he's got as good a credential, better than any of these guys, 3-time New York City Marathon champion and former world record holder. Alberto.
Tony, we're coming up on about the 20-mile point. We got 3 runners running together. We got Stephen Adungo, the defending champion. He is showing why he is the defending champion. He ran very conservatively over the first 15 to 16 miles, was always sitting way back in the pack, biding his time. Very efficient runner, like you've all said. He runs very low knee lift. Number 11, kind of a surprise to me, is Benson Mabithy. He actually looks the best of the 3 runners still there. And finally, trailing in 3rd was another favorite, and that's Mark Yadic. Although he looks strong, his form is by far the most suspect of the 3. But right now, I think Stephen Adungo is looking very good, but I'd have to go with Benson Mabithy. He looks very strong. His face looks very composed. I don't think that he's working very hard.
Alberto, you know, is Benson Beatty starting to come up on the shoulder of this guy? Is anyone who is actually controlling the issue at this point? Well, even though he's in the lead, Stephen Dungu, it's like Al was saying, Beatty's sitting on him. Beatty probably thinks he's got more speed. Now, even those are 3 Kenyans, they don't train together. They don't race against each other that often. So the only time they probably do race against each other is in this race where Beatty was 3rd last year.
Now, you don't want to have somebody just sitting on you like that.
Right, and I was going back to ask Al, is that you can see Stephen Dungu go from one side of the road on occasion to the other. What he's doing is not cutting tangents. He's trying to not let those guys draft on him. Al, is he cutting tangents or trying to get rid of guys?
Okay, this is Alberto. We're at the 20-mile point. Very fast time. We're about 1:38. These guys, all three of them, are considerably under course record pace. If they continue this pace for the rest of the race, they're going to run in the low 209s, maybe even break 209. Given the fact that there's three of them and they're looking as strong as they are right now, I got to believe that at least one of them is not only going to be able to pick up the pace over the last 6 miles, but perhaps run at a much faster clip, maybe get down into the 208s. We've got a great record-setting pace going right now with only 6 miles to go in the race.
All right, Alberto, we'll get back to you. Now let's check in with Catherine with the women. Catherine.
Hi, yes, we just passed the 17-mile mark, and we've lost 3 of our women. They're back there, and the reason why is not because anybody made a move, but because of a very, very sharp hill at mile 16, which really had them gritting their teeth. You can see some new faces have moved up from the back. They were shy before, just biding their time, staying out of headwind. In particular, F9 right there, that's Ludmila Korchugina from Russia, who has a 2-time winner of the Hartford Marathon. She's run in tough, tough conditions, so this is not difficult for her today. Also, F2, Olga Kovpatina in the turquoise shirt over there. She has run several races like this at Twin Cities on the similar courses, so she should do well here today. I want to also thank Mervyn's for their sponsorship of the women's race. That's wonderful sponsorship, and we'd like to welcome them on board.
Thanks, Catherine. Tony, when you see the women grouped like this, I mean, we could have a very competitive race here down to the finish.
Well, they got, what, 6 or 7 of them right there?
Right.
Right, and they're not running the course record pace like the men are, but they're within themselves, and they're just holding it all together. Well, there's like 8 of them right there. That's the deepest women's pack we've had this late in any Los Angeles Marathon previously, and so the racing, you know, throw a blanket over them. There's no telling who's going to win this thing or who's even decided to take the lead. They're all experienced. They all know what they're doing, except Jacqueline Torori, the Kenyan girl, and she's starting to fade just a little bit. You can see her arms coming across her body, her shoulders starting to sway. That means she's trying to use her arms a little bit because her legs are starting to get fatigued. But the Russian girls, the Lithuanian girls up front, the Romanians all still look very strong.
Everyone today competing has a reason. Everyone today competing has a story. But few can say they were actually duped into running the marathon. But folks, it happened. There are many motivations for running a marathon. Lose a little weight, get into better shape, go that extra mile. Yet the most unlikely reason is that you were tricked.
Well, actually, I hate to say it, but I conned her because she doesn't like to exercise. So what I did was I first called her and said, Cameron, I said, could you do Grandmommy a favor? And she says, she was real quiet for a second. She says, what? I said, well, it's not much. I said, will you run the marathon with me?
And I was like, yes, because I thought it was just like a one-time thing. Like, we're going to run that day.
Leola Logan fooled her 15-year-old granddaughter, Cameron Logan, into training for a marathon. It wasn't an easy sell.
You don't see as much younger kids, like, doing that. Like, when I went, it was, like, all older people, and I was kind of, like, embarrassed at first. But I get used to it after a while.
And since August, Cameron and her 52-year-old grandmother have gotten up at 4:30 a.m. in Garden Grove on Saturday mornings to train with the LA Roadrunners in Venice. An incredible commitment, especially for a teenager.
I feel more mature. I mean, I was mature before this, but I was just, you know, mature to a bigger level. Because I'm out here doing it for me. And then, like, when you're immature, you know, you're just, like, messing around. But I'm doing it for me and my grandmother, so.
On March 2nd, 2 family members, 2 generations apart, will run together. Cameron brags that she'll beat Grandma, and the 2 giggle like sisters. That was Leola's goal when she first tricked her granddaughter, to develop a bond and give her something she'll never forget.
That's what I told her. I said, you know, when we would leave, I said, you're not going to appreciate this now. I said, but years and years and years and years when I'm no longer here, and I said, you have children and grandchildren of your own. I said, you'll remember this.
We're coming south on Arlington with guess who? It's the Logan family. Leola and Cameron. We got to start with Cameron. Has reality setting in yet?
Yes.
How tough is this?
It's really hard. I thought it would be easy, but.
Well, the fact that it's so hot a day doesn't help. Okay, let's go over and talk to Grandma. Come on over here, Grandma. How are you doing in this heat? It's pretty warm.
I'm doing fine, though. It's a blessing. I'm okay.
I thought I wanted mist, but we don't have that much, but it still isn't bad at all.
And a lot of people will spray their hoses
Yes,
out.
they're taking and spraying us, and it's so really nice of them. And everybody's just so nice. It's a blessing. I like this.
Leola, thank you so much. Cameron, good luck to you. Just think, you've got only, what, 18 more miles to go as the LA Marathon continues.
I know that Cameron has a $100 bet with Grandma to see who would win it. And Cameron says she's going to win that $100. As we take a look at the men as we go to break, right now, Tony, they are on pace to set a course record. And we'll continue from downtown after this.
The LA Marathon is sponsored by Honda.
You know on your driver's license where it says hair color?
Yeah.
What do they put if you're completely bald?
I don't know. Not applicable.
Yeah, that's probably it.
I think they just go by your eyebrow color.
When you drive a car you never have to think about, what will you think about? The Civic from Honda.
Do you wanna hang out in the daytime? City sounds all around. Do you wanna hang out in the nighttime? City signs in a line. How do you do? How do you do? Happy to meet you. How do you do? How do you do? Happy to meet you.
Mom, Dad, we have something to say. Claire and I didn't meet in France. The truth is we met on Match.com, and we think it's the greatest thing to ever happen to us.
But what about Paris?
What about my Eiffel Tower? We picked that up at a garage sale. We've never been to France.
I'm actually from Long Island.
Oh,
Cheers.
that's nice.
There are 8 million people on Match.com. Are you matching?
NBC Tonight. Keep your voice down. Boomtown is back with a case that made headlines. Home invasions.
These people are not in this for the money. There's something else going on here.
They strike while everyone's home.
We don't know why these families have been targeted.
To catch criminals like this, they'll have to set a tasty trap.
You want to use this as bait? This is so cool.
How good is it? Entertainment Weekly gives this show an A.
God help us if there's more than one gang out there.
All new Boomtown after an all-new Law & Order Criminal Intent. NBC Tonight.
Men's leader and two-time defending champ Stephen Ndugu of Kenya has the lead. But, Tony, you believe that if he loses the lead at any point now, he's finished.
He can't sprint. He's trying to apply. He is applying enormous pressure. He's trying to get away. He's got to get away. He can't go to the line the last few blocks and have anyone on his shoulder because he can't improve his pace by that much. BT and Yadic know this, so they know that they just got to hang on to him. Hang on to him. At all costs, don't let this guy get away. There's Benson Beatty, the 2000 champion, third last year, and he's in better shape. He hadn't done much since his 2000 victory. He needs to get his name back on a winner's list to get his marketing opportunities back before him. Yadic ran his personal best in Berlin last September, yet the book on him is he doesn't finish well, even though he's probably got more talent than the other two guys.
And you see the clock up in the corner. We are on course record pace.
By 1 minute at 20 miles, but as everyone says a million times in the marathon, the first half of the marathon is all your training until the 20-mile mark. The second half is those last 6 miles.
The weather will play a key. Fritz.
All right, Freddie, we're updating the weather. It's already too warm. Last third of the race, weather could be a factor in both temperature and in winds. We have north winds at 7 miles an hour this hour, 60% relative humidity here in the downtown coastal plain, and 70 degrees. And I will tell you that north wind at 7 miles an hour after mile 7 turning northbound, especially coming back on Flower toward the end of the race, could be an issue. And, Tony, I'll bet it's never been 70 degrees during the Boston Marathon.
It's been 98, Fritz, at
Oh,
the
is that
Boston
right?
Marathon.
Wow.
1976, the run for the hoses. 98 degrees. Yeah, so Boston could be 30 and snowing, or it'd be 100 degrees and broiling.
Stephen Ndugu still the leader.
When he took the lead, that was his moment. He said, from this point to the tape, if I can do it.
So the question, Tony, as we watch, did he make his move too soon?
Not for him. He's an awfully knowledgeable guy. He didn't start running marathons until he was 30 years of age, and that was in Berlin. His first one was a 2:11. he knows that throughout his career, he doesn't have any speed. He did not run as a youngster. He was just in the Army as a soldier. A good friend of his, John Cogway, two-time New York City Marathon champion, eventually convinced him he should start running, and slowly he began to improve. But he knows that he's a pure marathon runner with no speed, and he just has to go from far out. He's a long out kicker because he's got no speed at the finish. But right now, you can see the smallest of little gaps with Beatty, and Yadic has been sitting back there. Yadic's got those long old legs. He won a half marathon just last weekend in Firenze in Italy, so he's got a lot of confidence coming in. But both these guys in front of him have run faster marathons than has Yadic.
Well, as you watch, Stephen Ndugu continue to lead our race, but we're getting very close here. No, Ndugu's going to hold on there. Earlier today, the bikes were out on the course for the Acura bike event. Competitors were out at 6 o'clock this morning. The former mayor, Dick Reardon, was there. Bill Burke, the president of the LA Marathon, also in attendance. Thousands of bikers.
16,000 plus. It's become one of the great traditions again that's not done in other marathons. There are certain special events here associated with the running event, which are purely Los Angeles. Los Angeles is a great outdoor activity sort of city, and biking is a huge part of this city. They put it in the marathon.
And what's great about this, and it never happens, if you live in LA, they actually get to ride on the streets of Los Angeles with no traffic. No traffic lights, no policemen, and then go as fast as they can.
And now no Benson Beatty in the men's race, as he is starting to fall off at 1 hour and 49 minutes into it. The pressure being applied by Ndungu has taken a victim, and it's our 2000 champion Benson Beatty. Yadic has moved up on the tail of Ndungu, and the pressure continues to go.
All right, let's go to Denise Valdez. Denise.
Okay, you guys, we are back here now at the 15-mile mark along Pico, just east of La Cienega, and now we are right in the thick of the runners, a steady stream of runners as I step out of the picture here. Take a look. You may recognize a friend, a co-worker, or perhaps a colleague. Now, it's actually getting fairly warm. I've taken off my jacket. These runners are actually facing the sun. We are at the Honda water station, where, as you can see, the road is just littered with these water cups, and periodically, when there's a break in the pack here, they'll come in with a big broom or a rake and try to clear those cups, try to clear those streets for these runners. Now, as I mentioned, we're here near the 15-mile mark. So at this point, most of these runners realize they are more than halfway through, but they still have quite a ways to go. The water here is an important element, important to keep them hydrated and important to keep them motivated. So these folks here, the volunteers, are actually going to pass out probably more than 1,000 gallons of water, and they've actually made some impromptu noise makers out of some of those water jugs, filling them with coins, shaking the noise makers and cheering them on as they pass here through the 15-mile mark. You mentioned fatigue a little bit earlier. Some of the folks here, we saw one gentleman who was actually gripping the back of his thigh, obviously with a severe cramp, but determined to go ahead and finish as we participate here in LA's 18th marathon. Back to you guys.
All right, Denise, thanks. The men's race starting to shake down. Let's get out to Alberto Salazar. Alberto.
We're coming up on it. Just past the 22-mile point, and I can say this, we can say goodbye to the LA Marathon record. We got 3 guys that look great. I think that we have a very good chance of going under 2:09 today. Ndungu is just continuing to shuffle along. He just hardly has any knee lift whatsoever. He's like a machine. I can't believe that he just ran his last mile in about 4:42. He looks like he's running over 5-minute pace. The other runners are struggling. Mabiti has fallen back now. He's in 3rd place. He looked the most composed, but he's fallen about 30 yards back. In 2nd place is Yadic. Yadic is sticking right to Ndungu. He's just about 5 or 10 feet behind him. He looks like he's struggling a little bit. Ndungu does not look like he's changed at all. Neither his form nor the expression on his face. Very monotone look on his face. He's just continuing to go along. He has not changed in the last 10 miles. I think he's looking very strong right now, and he's definitely going to continue to be able to run this pace. I don't know about Yadic. With that sort of long and elongated stride that he has, he might tie up a little bit, but it's going to be up to Ndungu falling off the pace for Yadic to have a chance.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Let's get over to Catherine for the women. Catherine.
There's a big break in the women's race, and it happened just where it happened last year. This is on 6th Street between 18 miles and 19 miles, and this is Kurchagina, Ludmila Kurchagina from Russia. She made her surge. A couple of women tried to go with her, but they couldn't. The race is really broken up. It reminds me of putting like hot oil into a frying pan, and all of a sudden the bubbles go every which way, and that's exactly what's happened here. Kurchagina is for real. She won the Hartford Marathon twice, and she told me before this race her objective was to come here and win, and has been training. Okay.
Catherine, thanks very much. We'll keep an eye on that. Let's get out to the local runners and Pat Healy.
We're on the course going through Lamart Park with Sherry. You've got your daughter and an auntie along today. What's the plan?
This is Natalie, and that's my daughter, Kobe. The plan is just to breathe and finish.
It's tough. Tough enough finishing a marathon, but to push the stroller?
It's very easy because we're rotating. I do 1 mile, she does another mile, and her auntie up there does the next mile.
Oh, we got another auntie. That'll help out. Your first LA Marathon, give me the vibe. What's it like out here?
It's like gumbo. It's just a lot of mixture, a lot of flavor. Very positive. What did you say, Cody?
What did you say about all this?
It's very meditative.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Well, you've got that. It's the gumbo metaphor for the LA Marathon. Carry on.
All right, Pat, thanks very much. And there's our men's leaders once again.
You know, Tungu, like Al said, doesn't look like he's running fast, but at 4:42 per mile, the guy is flying, and he's setting a personal best. He's on course record pace, but there's no guarantees yet.
We'll continue from Arco Plaza in downtown Los Angeles after this.
The LA Marathon is sponsored by Honda.
17 years ago, Honda engineers set out on a dream to create something with unprecedented mobility and feet. One day, it may be the eyes, ears, and legs for people in need. Say hello to Osmo.
From early mornings to late nights, from the store around the corner to business around the country, your whole family can count on the best wireless network in the nation, Verizon Wireless. Get the America's Choice National Family Share Plan and share unlimited night and weekend minutes on up to 4 separate lines. Hurry and buy an LG phone for $49.99 after rebate. Plus, now get unlimited text messaging for only $2.99 monthly access. So no one's ever out of the loop. Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you.
Can you hear me now? Good.
My neighbors think I'm an expert gardener. I get lots of compliments, and they're asking me questions. So I say, go to Armstrong Garden Centers. They've got the real experts, and they're so nice. They help you choose from thousands of flowers and roses and shrubs, trees, and beautiful things for decorating.
Fill your garden and senses with fragrance from the beautiful Lavender Lady Lilac from Monrovia.
Got quiet around here, didn't it? I wonder where my neighbors are.
Armstrong Garden Centers. Imagine what we can do for you.
People magazine calls Old School a most excellent comedy. Even big Hollywood stars love it.
Old School is pretty good, funny. Great movie. Probably the best movie I've ever seen.
Awesome.
Old School is a wild ride.
We're good streaking! It's the #1 comedy in America.
It made me feel like it was me who was on the screen.
Bring your friends.
It's clothing optional.
Bring your parents.
I was having flashbacks to my college days.
Bring extra clothing.
What do you guys like better, nurse or cheerleader?
Old School.
See the movie, you pansy.
Rated R. Now play.
Welcome back to the 18th Los Angeles Marathon. And Stephen Ndungo, our two-time champion, seems to have a small gap at 1 hour 57 minutes into the race, about 23 miles. It could be a telling moment in this race, going for an unprecedented three-peat as the Los Angeles Marathon champion. But worldwide for the last decade, the Kenyan athletes have dominated long-distance running. In track and field news last year alone, 60% of every distance runner from 800 meters to the marathon was Kenyan. People want to know why. Maybe the following will give us some insight. There's a timeless quality to life in rural Kenya. And as the new day rises, so too do the athletes of the Kaptagat training camp, located 200 miles northwest of Nairobi along the rim of the Great Rift Valley. Today, 22 young men, some already champions, have come together for a run of nearly 10 miles. Here where the pace of life is slow and the modern world is literally thousands of miles away, the ability to train without distraction is a singular advantage over Western competitors. But in a country where the average annual income is only $400 and a life expectancy is little more than 50 years, running represents a lot more than physical fitness, which is why Kenyans occupy 6 of the top 10 places in the world rankings from 800 meters all the way to the marathon. But love of running by the people of Kenya plays every bit as important a role as does the high altitude. Here, if you win the Los Angeles, Boston, or New York City marathons, you bring international prestige to the country, but great wealth to yourself, your family, and your village. Here in the Central Highlands, the amount of oxygen saturating the air is 20% less than that at sea level. It is spectacular. About 9,000 feet. That's the altitude. The flip side of this training is the need for full and complete rest, and that's where the isolation of the training camps comes into play. And yet, even in this solitude, the great marathons of the world remain a constant motivation. Put all the pieces together, and you get that old Kenyan phrase, training hard, racing easy.
Boy, Tony, I think it's hard for Americans to imagine that there is actually a program like that, and these people actually sacrifice like they do.
It's either that or be a subsistence farmer. As we take a look at Benson Beatty, who was the final face in that piece, in 3rd place right now. 3 months they prepare for one race. It's a lot like boxing in that regard. I mean, it's a training sport. It's not a practice sport. You train days in and days out for one competition.
So there, like kids here would grow up with baseball or grow up with football. Now, in Kenya, in Africa, they grow up with running.
They grow up with running, and here at the Los Angeles Marathon, $25,000 and a brand new car. In a $400 is the average annual wage. It's 100 years' wages. This is a life-transforming experience for them. Or do you just want to watch the animals and tend the fields all day? I mean, what are the options?
Right. Absolutely. You do what you have to do.
People say, why don't we have American great distance runners?
Right.
Because we got world-class everything else. Something's got to give.
Mm-hmm.
Dungu in the lead continuously for the last 8 miles, and we just passed the 2-hour mark. Yadic has been gapped a little bit at one point and then sprung back like the rubber band, starting to pull and extend. And so he's shown vulnerability, and Dungu sensed it.
And we just saw him check his watch. Let's get out to Catherine with the women. Catherine.
Dull moment in the Mervin-sponsored women's race, I must tell you. Look at this. Tatiana Pozniakova at 20 miles made a superhuman surge. She's in the orange singlet and caught up with Korchagina, who is a winner from the Hartford Marathon. And they're running here together, and I have to eat my words also on something. This Mexican guy with the Venice t-shirt, he has been with these women the whole way. He's running a great little race, I'll tell you. Anyway, we're coming up to 21 miles right at this moment. We're on 3rd Street, and it's going to be anybody's race between the 2 of these women right now. And there's a lot more to go, of course, in the race. It's interesting that both of these women have worked to get out of cold weather. Olga Pozniakova, of course, lives in Gainesville, Florida. She's got her green card. Olga Korchagina lives in Toronto. She trains on the York University track indoors to stay out of the cold and came to Los Angeles to enjoy this warmer weather. Back to you guys.
Catherine, just what's the number on that Mexican fellow?
I'm going to get it for you in just a minute. The last 3 digits are 728, and there are 3 more digits in front of it. So obviously he's a walk-on into the expo area.
All right, great. Thanks.
Let's get out of Fritz. They're getting ready at the finish line for the men's race. Fritz.
Yes, sir. Here we are at 6th and Flower. The waves of applause and cheers are rising and subsiding as we still welcome aboard the wheelchair competitors. The real cheers going up for those guys. And every once in a while, the voiceover announcer announces the lead of the men's and women's, and more cheers go up. At just over 2 hours, the tension's getting high here. We have National Guard troops. We have Army troops waiting to greet the competitors back. We have all of the marathon officials with their clipboards waiting. And it's just a matter of time before we see if it's a course record or a three-peat in the men's at the finish line. Back to you.
All right, we expect the men to finish very soon now.
Within 6-7 minutes.
So we'll step aside, and when we come back, the finish of the men's race.
Are the largest of the deer family and vary in size and shape. Their color ranges
feathers with oil from a special gland and constantly preen to keep those include mallards, red-tips, pintails, butternuts, witches, gadwells.
You can afford to spruce up the whole house. That's what big brands, small prices is all about at Mervyn's.
From power to refinement, it's the best Accord yet. Auto Week magazine.
A wealth of practical riches. The New York Times.
Inside this handsome new structure is a cabin that caters to the driver, Motor Trend.
It just doesn't get any better than this. Car and Driver.
We've always received our fair share of accolades. The key is never being satisfied with them.
The 03 Accord. What a gem. USA Today.
Sure, our vegetables are incredibly fresh. But so are our prices. This week at Albertsons. Fresh asparagus, only 97 cents per pound. Fresh boneless beef top sirloin steaks, just $1.97 per pound. And Huggies Jumbo Pack diapers, only $8.99. Looking for thousands of bonus buys? Albertsons, it's your store.
Like a lot of people, I used to have a problem with my weight. But not anymore. Not since I discovered Xenadrin EFX. With Xenadrin, losing weight is so easy. And I've never had this much energy. Millions of people use Xenadrin EFX because it delivers dramatic results without ephedra. Xenadrin's the #1 weight loss supplement because it works like nothing else.
At GNC.
Back live now, you're looking at the men as they head for home.
And Stephen Dungu at 2 hours and 4 minutes and counting continues to lead for the last 10 miles. Mark Yadic, second this race in the downpour year of 2000, is stuck with them a couple of times. We saw during the break him turn around and sort of check and see if anyone else is coming. And that's usually a sign, well, maybe I should protect second place. I don't know. But the unrelenting pressure of Stephen Dungu has gotten rid of 24,999 people. But there's still one guy. And that one guy, the odds are, has better finishing speed than Stephen Dungu. But Dungu's going to put everything into this final mile.
He looks like he is mechanical here.
That's exactly what he is. He surprised me today because he had a little bit of the flu. He didn't train with his normal training partners because they were getting ready for Boston, which is 6 weeks down the road. So he is training by himself, did not have the same confidence, but he's running the race of his life.
Now, I know before we started, and you just pointed this out, he's going for the three-peat, but you did have some concerns.
Absolutely. He got 11th in the Armed Forces 30K race. Last year he got 3rd. That was his tune-up race for this. He needed more speed work. He did the speed work, but he came down with a little bit of a cold. When you're at the fittest as an athlete, you're also on the edges of your sickbed because you're constantly breaking down your immune system. Applications of you stress followed by rest is the training method. And sometimes you go over the top and you get a little bit sick, and that's what happened to him. But here we are at 2 hours, 6 minutes and 12 seconds. The course record 2:09:25 set back in 1999 by Simon Bohr of Kenya. And there's the finish line, 2-block stretch. But as we saw with Bob Maldonado talking about Salman Duz in the wheelchair, you're going up. And all you got left at this point in the race is a little bit of momentum, and that's going to kill your momentum.
Well, the question now is, A, will he hold on? And B, will they shatter the course record?
Well, right now they're definitely on course record pace, but everything could change. Like I said, competition breeds fast times. Alberto, how do they look? Does Yadic look good at all?
With just about a half hour to go, it's a cat and mouse game right now. We've got Stephen Ndungu going for his 3rd win in a row. Just one stride behind him is Mark Yadic. Ndungu looks like he's in a little more discomfort than Yadic. Yadic really looks good. About a half mile ago, he went to take some water, and at that point Ndungu got about a 20-yard gap on him. Yadic made it up probably within the next 100 yards. Looked very comfortable catch him. I think Yadic has a lot in reserve, and he's just waiting to the finish. Unfortunately, their last 2 miles they've slowed down to about 5:20 or 5:30 pace. So what seemed like to be a shoo-in for a new course record is now looks like it's going to be very close. But one thing for sure, it's going to be one heck of a finish. Yadic is just stalking Ndungu. Ndungu looks like he's really hurting at this point. Yeah, again, his form has not changed throughout, but Yadic looks like he's just coasting along behind him, and I really think he's going to put it into another gear when he sees the finish line.
Alberto, when does he make that move? When does he make that decision?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you guys.
That's how deep the crowds are, really. I've been out there for many, many years, and it's really, the crowd senses that they're near the end, and they really start to pick up that energy.
Tony, when does he make that decision?
He makes it as late as possible when he feels comfortable. You sense, you have a sense of what is going on out there. You're at a heightened sensibility as an athlete at speed. And right now, he senses how strong Dungu is. He's taken Dungu's best stuff, and he knows that he hasn't been broken. Dungu tried his best a couple of miles ago. It didn't happen. So right now, Yadic is just waiting to pick his point because Dungu doesn't have that speed. Yadic knows it. Dungu knows it. And Yadic, as he said, you go through good feelings in a marathon, bad feelings, good patch, bad patch. And we thought that Yadic looked a little bit bad about a mile ago. Now he looks better, more animated, more up on his toes. In the year 2000, he was like one of the great road racers in America. He won the biggest, like 7-mile races in the country. I mean, that's where all the big dogs were running. He won both those races, and he hasn't really lived up to those expectations. Now he's back on form and starting to show. This would be an enormous break in his career. Now we're within minutes. We're within seconds. 2:09.25 doesn't look like it's going to get broken. The course record doesn't go, but who wins the race?
Well, if he's going to make his move, he'd better make it now.
Dungu and Yadic. Can Dungu hold him off? Yadic's got his hand up in the air, which means he's more than confident. But when's he going to go into that gear?
We're running out of time for Yadic.
Yeah, Yadic had his arms up in the air, which means no
here
problem.
Here he comes.
No problem. Mark Yadic, as late as he wanted to, saved so much that he might have missed the course record. But Yadic in 2:09.50 unofficially takes Los Angeles 2003. And Dungu is maybe an athletic, please, for towing the guy like a AAA record for about the last 10 miles. Oh, I want to hug you. And we'll hug somebody else,
exactly.
pal.
And Yadic looks like he's still got gas in the tank.
Well, the thing is, he had plenty left. And when he found out at around 24 miles that, no, the hills are passed, this guy's not going to get away from me. No one else, when he turned around, he was looking to see if anyone else didn't have to worry about. And we saw in the shadows, arm up in the air, which means it's mine, kids. Just alerting the crowd, have your cameras ready, because I'm going by.
Take another look at the finish now, Tony.
Yadic, not known as a great closer in the marathon in the past, but look at those. Look at the lift on those knees. Look at those hands pumping. This is Mark Yadic, the man we thought was going to be the great champion 2 years ago. And boy, the emotion, you could see what that means to him. I mean, he's almost knocking down poor Stephen Dungu. He's saying, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you hurt.
Yeah, and Stephen was not pleased.
Well, no, I mean, God bless Stephen Dungu. I mean, that's as honorable a defense of a title as you ever want to see. But Yadic answered the promise that's always been there. It's Benson Beatty in about 2:11.08.
And there's our winner.
And our second place finisher. What a magnificent race.
Savoring the moment. And why not?
Well, you know, historically, when they changed the course from over at the Coliseum and they brought it here to starting in 6th and Fig and finishing at 5th and Flower, the first 2 years they did that, we had great sprints to the tape. I mean, forget about time. These are great races in Los Angeles.
Mark Yadic establishing that he was indeed the man today in downtown L.A.
And you can, again, it's all in the emotion. You can't hide the emotion at a time like this.
And how do you feel if you're Stephen Dungu? Oh, wait a minute. Here's our 4th place finisher.
And this is our Takashi Horiguchi in 2 hours, 12 minutes flat.
And that was very impressive. His first big-time marathon.
It's his first marathon, period. But the smile is going to stay there for, what, another 16, 17 days.
All right, we've finished with the men. Still to come, your local runners, plus the finish of the women's race. We'll continue.
Pozniakova.
All right, we'll continue from Arco Plaza in downtown after this.
You know you're looking good. You're in your neighborhood and you see all the people in the street now. You know you're feeling fine. You're out in the sunshine and you feel the grass beneath your feet now. In my mind I can see your picture. You
2 years after the telephone was invented, a telephone company was born. "125 years of sweat. 125 years of building networks. 125 years of getting the job done. The fact is, after 125 years, we are just getting started. Looking back, moving forward. SBC.
The same performance and reliability you've come to expect in our cars is also available in Honda generators, mini tillers, string trimmers, and lawnmowers. It's your life. Turn it on.
Could a popular health trend turn your skin blue? Monday at 5.
All right, you are looking at our women's leader as we continue in the Los Angeles Marathon. She looks very, very strong. Now, let's get out to Denise Valdez at mile 15. Denise?
Hi there, Fred. We actually managed to stop half of the wedding party. We've got Brian Gillespie with us. A little earlier in the broadcast, we showed you that you got married 1 year ago today at the LA Marathon.
Mile 6, Exposition Park in the Rose Garden. And we went ahead and passed by there. That was because we met in 1998 at mile 6. And as it turns out, with the new course, it happened to be the Rose Garden. And the Marathon Committee was wonderful in putting this thing all together.
And this year, actually, you were running with your wedding party who just went ahead and blazed right past us.
I like fast women, and Maureen's one of them. She was pulling away from me at this point. And
a true case of love on the run.
Oh, it is. And this is one of those things that we're sharing a common sport, and I'm keeping up with her.
Well, happy anniversary to you, and thanks for stopping. I know it's going to ruin your time, but we appreciate you coming by.
I always have to make up for it.
Okay. All right, hit the road. Bye, Brian.
Hit the road.
See you later.
Brian hit the road. We appreciate them stopping by. Look who is with us now. A champion, a true champion, Jackie Joyner-Kersee. We're going to talk to her in a minute because we want to get to another champ real quick. Let's get down to Alberto Salazar with today's men's winner. Alberto.
Mark, congratulations on a great race. It seemed like you ran with a lot of poise out there today. There was a lot of things happening out in front. You were always a little bit back in the pack, and then you would just move up gradually whenever someone made a move. What was your plan during the race?
My plan, I have been running marathon several times. Many marathon. Now I have raced almost 10 marathon since I started running marathon, and I do not have experience of running marathon. But I have been running road races, and I've been competing with Khalid Kanuchi of American here, and we are in Greek at the finishing point. I've been good, but in long distance I have not been practicing very much. But now I have been working a lot of endurance. I have been working a lot of I have been doing a lot of mileage. So now I'm feeling strong because I have been doing a lot of long run because I'm good in speed. But now I am well prepared.
So training with Khalid Kanuchi, the world record holder in the mile, who's feared for his finishing kick, did that give you the confidence today?
Yes.
Over the last 3 or 4 miles, it seemed like you were just waiting for the finish, just stalking Stephen Ndungu.
Yes, because I was confident of this marathon because of the mileage, you know, the long distance, you know, to run a marathon, it's not like running 10 kilometers. It's a different because it's a very long way. So I have been doing in my workout in home. I have been working a lot of long mileage.
So even though you were working a lot on your mileage and on your endurance, what gave you the confidence that you could wait until the very end there to win the race in a kick?
I have been I've been staying back. I did not go in front because I was feeling strong, but I wait because I know I was able to pace, but I didn't want it because I know I want to wait until the finishing.
Well, you certainly look like you had that race well planned. Fantastic execution. Congratulations on a great race.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Alberto. I'll tell you, it looked like he could go out and run another one right now. He really looked good.
Boy, he is fired up. He is winning will do that to you. Yeah, you know, Jackie, one of the things I thought it was interesting, he talked about, now I'm an experienced marathoner. I was telling Fred earlier, this guy won the big road races in 2000, and we thought he was a comer, and yet he didn't really realize that talent at the full marathon. How important, he's got a lot of talent, how important is the talent experience equation in all athletics?
The equation and the talent is very important, and it's really believing in yourself and finding people within your environment that believe in you and help you to see what you don't see or feel what you don't feel, and keep balancing the two out, because talent, mental, and the spirit all goes together.
Well, that's also the Students Run LA story, isn't it? It's the belief in self. I didn't think I can do something, then I did do it. What else don't I think I can do?
Yes, the Student LA Run, American Honda sponsoring that for 7 years, I think giving back to the community, giving these kids something to believe in, and to know that they put their mind on focusing on a goal and they have achieved it. And it's just really remarkable when I sit and I talk with the kids how excited they are about trying to complete a marathon, even just trying to work out a workout plan and sticking to it.
And that has to give you a great sense of accomplishment, too, seeing them succeed.
Yes, it gives me a great sense of accomplishment, because you can sit down, you can talk, but then it's time to show the action. Because when I was with them about 3 weeks ago, they were right at 18 miles, and now they're able to do the 26.2 miles, something that I haven't done.
Now, I'm going to ask you about that, because we've known you for a long time, being from Southern California. You're a great Olympic champ. Arguably one of the great female athletes in the history of the world. You've accomplished things that only people can dream of. Why don't you ever run the marathon?
Well, you know, I'm still dreaming about it. I'm working towards it. You know, I got to practice.
Hey, Jackie, to run 26 miles.
Get out there.
Ready to run
God's sakes.
120 and less.
You know that talent and that equation we were talking about?
Right, exactly. You have to be an idiot to take a talent like this and ruin it over the distances. Although we're looking at Tatiana Pozniakova from Russia, who is 20 years ago the Soviet national 1,500-meter champion, running a faster time at the mile than Mary Slaney ever ran. And now here she is winning the Los Angeles Marathon 21 years later.
Did you mention,
that's unbelievable.
Did you mention she's 47 years old?
She's 47 years old. I mean, anyone who's an athlete like Jackie, everyone just gets jaw-dropping that this is going on.
Yeah, but the dedication and sometimes with distant runners, the older you get, the better you get.
So. 47?
All right, let's get down to
47.
All right, let's get down to Alberto with Stephen Ndungu. Alberto.
I'm with second placer Stephen Ndungu, two-time defending champion. Today he did all the work. Stephen, you were leading probably from about the 19 or 20 mile point all the way until 100 yards to go. How did you feel during the race, and what was your strategy that last 6 miles?
Well, my strategy was to try and maybe move away from the other guys, so as to attain a better position, and also to rectify my time, that is to do anything beyond under 2:10.
Okay, well, without you, it definitely wouldn't have been an under 2:10 race. Over that last mile, did you know that was Markiadich behind you, and what did you feel you had to do in order to get away from him, or did you feel that you were just going to try and out-sprint him at the finish?
I'm sorry, I didn't know that it was Markiadich. Otherwise, I was just learning. When I tried to look behind, I couldn't see the guy, for he was just behind my toes, or behind my knees, and maybe he gave me a lot of tension. I had to try push and push and push, but he looked very strong to me.
Okay. Well, once again, you ran a tremendous race, a very courageous race. You set the pace, you did the work, and without you, Markiadich wouldn't have run a sub 2:10. So you didn't come in first this time, but 2 firsts and a second place, that ain't bad. So congratulations.
You're welcome.
Back to Fred.
Thanks, Alberto. All right, the women's race still to finish, and more of your friends, your family, your neighbors, as we continue from downtown Los Angeles.
The LA Marathon is sponsored by Mervyn's, proud sponsor of the women's race in the LA Marathon.
Moose are the largest of the deer family and vary in size and shape. Their color ranges from a light brown to a dusty are mule deer. Dive and tip under wet through to the skin, like tiles on a roof. They coat their feathers with oil from a special gland and constantly preen to keep those include mallards, red tips, pintails, butterflies, witches, gadwills.
You can afford to spruce up the whole house. That's what big brands, small prices is all about at Mervyn's.
Go ahead. Open the box. I think I dreamed this.
My kids don't need me, not at all.
I want us to last. I want it to be worth it.
You're amazing, Claire.
I think if you're afraid of something, I remember that feeling of falling. Falling probably means you should do it. I love you so much, it terrifies me. Could it be any more pathetic?
I'm your partner. I'm not you. Won't be long. Just tell me, am I dead? Yes or no?
There are a lot of maybes in life. Some are really fun to think about. Like the maybe I'll win the Super Lotto Plus jackpot, maybe. Hey, why not? After all, it only costs $1 to let your favorite maybe play, skip, and dance around in your head. Super Lotto Plus. It's your dream. Play it.
Your car may have 4 doors, comfortably seat 4, run on 4 cylinders, have 4 wheels, or even be a 4x4. But you'll get where you're going safer and sooner with Channel 4's Traffic on the 4s. Every morning when the clock says 4, you know 5:04, 5:14, 6:24, Channel 4's Paul Johnson will forewarn you about sig alerts and shortcuts throughout the Southland. Hey, with over 24 years of experience, he's the foreman of LA Traffic. Traffic on the 4s every morning on Today in LA.
Back live now, getting set for the finish of the women's race. Let's get out to Catherine Switzer. Catherine.
I'll tell you, the drama on Olympic Boulevard is absolutely tremendous. Anytime a 47-year-old wins a race outright is world headlines type of stuff. This woman has a 16-year-old son, Eugenie. There are women in this race who are young enough to be her daughter. She has passed Korchagina at 22 miles. Korchagina is still 50 to 60 yards back, simply cannot catch her. You've got to admit that Pozniakova, laying it out on 22 miles, has picked up the pace all the way along. She has utilized every single downhill to her advantage. She is probably going to finish this race in about 4 more minutes. She's looking to try to get a time bonus here. Back to you guys.
Well, Catherine, any chance that she's going to fall apart or somebody like Korchagina is going to come get her, or does she look pretty solid?
I'm sorry, say again?
Does she look pretty solid, or is there a chance at Korchagina?
There's about 60 yards back on Korchagina. Korchagina is working very hard, but she simply cannot catch her. This race is all Pozniakova's. She's looked back several times to see the distance. She knows she's got it in the bag. She's going to go now as fast as she can now to try to get a time bonus in addition to the $25,000 first prize. Now she's on flour. She sees the finish line, and she's going to go as hard as she can. This is really incredible testimony to how the aging process can be forestalled through exercise if you can possibly prevent injury. Go to the finish.
And
Back to
you
you
can see
guys.
now the shot at the finish line.
She ran 2 hours, 30 minutes, and 26 seconds last year to take second place. At the time, it was a world age group record for 45-year-olds. Now she's 47, and she actually went on and took second place at the Ocean State Marathon last fall in New England and Rhode Island. In doing so, ran her personal best of 2:29 flat.
Tony, you would think over the years you'd slow down.
There'd be some diminution, but she loves to run. She just loves to run. And and we were talking how as we look back from the finish line, she's not far. Again, she's looking for a personal best. At 2:29, she got lost a couple of times out on that course, and so she thought she could have run a little bit faster. But 47 years old, she just keeps being more and more remarkable. Her son ran his personal best yesterday in high school for 1,500 meters, but he's nowhere near mom's family record.
How old is her son, do you know?
16.
16 years old.
Sophomore at Buckholz High School in Gainesville, Florida.
Well, it's been quite the day, and you can see the distance between our leader and the second place runner.
Well, Korchagina doesn't have the international credentials that Pozniakova does, but then neither does she have about 20 other years.
Tony, let me ask you something, because you've seen so many of these. Don't you hate it if you're in second place and all of a sudden you see the camera car move in front of you?
Just psychologically, it breaks the line.
Right.
You can't try to draw yourself. Yeah, everything like that, it makes an enormous difference psychologically, because late in the race, all you got your mind. The tape is in sight. She is moving inexorably toward another very swift time. Wheelchair men's course record by just a couple of seconds. A near record on the men's side. We're not going to get a course record, but we're looking for a personal best out of Tatiana Pozniakova here, and her first marathon victory in Los Angeles.
Well, she is looking very strong. She can see the finish line.
And now she's going into some of that old 1,500-meter track form and trying to chew some seconds off.
Well, she's coming right behind us at Arco Plaza.
Just really thick at Arco Plaza, and they're just screaming at her, and the buildings make that canyon effect. Was she just going to miss her personal best? I think that sun rising in the sky over 70 degrees cost her a little bit at the end, but what a stunning performance. And it's the fastest time that she will have ever run on this course.
She looks good, looks strong.
And Korchagina has made a step up in her credential as well.
Here she comes, past us at Arco Plaza, and about ready to cross the tape.
And the breeze is following at this point. And she's going to go under 2:30 and pick up another time bonus in the process. 2:29.38 unofficially.
Impressive and a very strong effort.
Look how fit she is. Ludmila Korchagina right behind. Also under 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Well, she's still got some energy.
Oh, they need pictures.
They need the picture.
The tape.
they need the picture. You know what?
Hey, if reality doesn't work, we're in Los Angeles.
Exactly. It's all a Hollywood story here. She still wins.
If there's any place that can handle reality not working.
Just because she missed the tape doesn't mean she doesn't win.
That is a tired young lady.
But you have to be so impressed, because once she took the lead, there was no turning back, and no one was even close.
Well, I mean, she's so experienced. There's Korchagina, and she was just saying, listen, she knew exactly when to take the lead. She knew exactly how much energy she had, and she is pointing at somebody. And that, oh, is it Give Me the Water? Or, oh, that's Bill Lohr, the elite athlete coordinator, who's a good friend of all the athletes, obviously, so she's having a little fun with Bill. That's a good shot.
Take a look at the finish again, Tony.
Her form never broke down.
The only mistake she made today,
missed the tape.
She missed the tape.
Right.
Right.
Oblivious of the tape. Well, I'd say you take the time bonus away. There has to be a consequence. My God, there has to be a consequence. If we don't have rules,
Well, luckily they turned it around and pushed her through the tape, and she wins any way you look at it. Our coverage of the Los Angeles Marathon continues from downtown and Arco Plaza right after this.
The LA Marathon is sponsored by Honda.
AC on. CD play, disc 4. Find nearest Chinese restaurant.
The voice-activated navigation system responds to 180 commands.
Order Mushu pork.
That's not one of them. The all-new 240 horsepower Accord from Honda.
We were here when your baby was born, when she started school, when she turned 16, and when she learned that taking care of her health was a full-time job. We're Save-On, the drugstore you've always counted on for low prices and 24-hour pharmacies. And for more things to make your life better and even easier any time of day or night. Save-On. Count on people who care.
Take the next step to a healthy life.
Come to the American Cancer Society's Great American Weigh-In, Wednesday, March 5th at Weight Watchers. We're giving everyone the chance to learn their body mass index, free. Research links high BMIs to increased health risk, including cancer. We can help you bring yours down. To find the Weight Watchers Center near you, call 1-800-651-6000 or go to WeightWatchers.com.
At Mercury, saving money is no accident. Mercury's convenient auto repair program and pre-approved repair shops will save you time and reduce claims costs. This saves our customers money on their policies, too.
I'm Danny Freeman. I saved $1,270 by switching to Mercury Insurance.
You can trust Mercury to give great coverage, great service, and save you money. Call Mercury today at 1-888-4MERCURY or click on trustmercury.com.
Back live in downtown Los Angeles, our continuing coverage of the Los Angeles Marathon. You've just seen the completion of the women's race, but your friends and family and neighbors are still on the course, and let's go out to Chris Schabel. Chris?
I'm here along mile marker 19. We are approaching. I'm with Matt Roberts. Matt, where do you live?
I live in Santa Monica right now, but I'm from Utah.
And for you, is this your first marathon?
Yes, it is.
How did you train?
Well, I went on the web, trained like a geek.
All right, what inspired you to do this? Is this something you've always wanted to do?
Well, not always, but my dad has he ran this 10 years ago, and it was really hot, and I felt I had to avenge him.
Nice. Now, are you trying to beat a certain time that he did?
No, I'm just shooting for a 3:30, but I'm running a little fast, so it looks good.
Yeah, it looks real good. Everyone's running really good times, really fast times. I understand records are being broken. What is, for you, what is the story of today? As you run 26 miles, what are you thinking about?
I'm just thinking about that finish line.
I notice you're having a good time. You're waving to people. You're soaking it all.
Yeah, this is an incredible crowd. It's a lot of energy. I feel like I got the whole city behind me.
You staying nourished, getting your fluid?
Oh, yeah. Been drinking all the waters.
All right, Matt, good luck to you, buddy.
Take care.
City running behind him. I guess better to be chased. And that's exactly what's happening. Let's get out to Beverly White, Bev.
All right, we're on the approach to the 19th mile. I'm standing here with Andrea, who's waiting for her son-in-law to run by. Tell us about your son-in-law.
My son-in-law, this is his first marathon, and he wanted to show me that he can do marathons too, because I do marathons, and I just want to see him finish. This is his first one.
All right, we're going to stand here with you till he swings by. There's signs and families and friends and lots of folks running by. Surprisingly, they've got so much energy, they're still talking on cell phones, describing what they're going through to friends and family back home. We're here to witness it. It's an amazing scene in the Miracle Mile area at Fairfax and Wilshire. I'm Beverly White. Back to you.
They're on cell phones describing what they're going through. Maybe there's heavy breathing going on those cell phones, just trying to survive this thing. All right, as you look at the continuing runners live, let's get down to Catherine Switzer with our women's winner. Catherine?
And I'm down with the most remarkable winner, Tatiana Pozniakova from the Ukraine and also from Gainesville, Florida. And what is definitely a world best for 47-year-olds who can believe that that happened today. Congratulations, Tatiana. Tatiana, you made your big dramatic move at 22 miles and never looked back.
Поздравляю тебя, ты 47 лет, ты выиграла, ты хорошо бегала сегодня. И что ты начала бежать после 22-й мили, ты начала бежать и победила их.
First half marathon, we are beginning together, all runners, and very slowly. I try to run faster, but no anybody don't left. Everybody stayed with me, and I try beginning to run faster, and I can. But after 17 miles, Ludmila beginning to run faster, and I hit her run. And after 22 miles, I think so. If I am not run faster right now, I don't won. And I am run faster and faster and faster.
You did run faster and faster and faster. They couldn't catch you. Ludmila, this has got to be, Tatiana, I'm sorry, Tatiana, this is a wonderful testimony for women who are aging. And what statement do you have to make about exercise and the aging process?
Я думаю, что это замечательно для женщин, которые уже стареют, ну, после 45 лет. Что ты им скажешь, можешь сказать этим всем дамам, что как надо уже приготовиться и все.
I know running is the best way to stay young. And every time I keep my shape and I run every day and 2 times a day. It's very hard work, I know, but I love running.
And you know what, Tatiana, you're a wonderful inspiration to so many women. You have a camp in Gainesville. You've been a great inspiration to all of us here. Congratulations. Back to you guys.
What a great story, Tony. What a great story.
She's great. Actually, her husband, Alexander, was the coach of Lyubov Denisova, last year's champion, and he's the coach 2 years in a row of the champion.
All right, let's get out to Denise Valdez. Denise.
Okay, you guys, you know, we were here back here at the 15-mile mark, and we had to stop these 2 ladies because I just love what they're wearing. What's with these outfits?
Well, we're Flying Pigs from Cincinnati. We have a Flying Pig Marathon in Cincinnati, so you can see the ears and the wings. So we're also running for the Leukemia Society for our hero Nathan, and we've been training in Cincinnati in about 5-degree weather, so it's a little hot out here.
I was just going to ask you, what do you think about this warm weather? This warm out today, isn't it?
It's very warm. We've been drinking a lot of water and trying to stay cool.
Yeah, but we love it. It's a great marathon.
Well, I like that theme, When Pigs Fly, because that's, I mean, for a lot of people, they're never going to come out and do a marathon.
That's right. Well, if we can do it, anybody can do it. So come on out. That's right. See us at the finish line.
Okay, ladies, good luck and get back in there. Thanks for stopping by. Back to you guys.
I'll tell you something, Tony. I know it's a wonderful event in Cincinnati, but I don't know many women that would like to be called a flying pig.
Yeah, only in the marathon where you're going to find somebody who actually embraces that concept of the flying pig.
Coming up next, stay tuned to the Channel 4. Stay tuned to Channel 4 for the 3-in-1 Avengers hosting the Georgia Force. It's just down the street at Staples Center, and they will kick it off at noon. As for us, our coverage continues. More of your friends, your family members. I'm not sure if we'll have any other flying pigs, but we'll discuss that when we come back.
The LA Marathon is sponsored by AT&T Wireless. M-Life, your mobile life made better.
When you can hear your wedding song 8 different ways. When you can see sunny skies ahead. When you can pick tulips over roses and chicken instead of beef. When you can get a reminder of why you're marrying him. When you can do all this with a calling plan starting at $19.99 a month. That's M-Life from AT&T Wireless. Right now, get a free Motorola 120T phone after $50 mail-in rebate. Hurry in or call 1-888-MY-M-Life today.
You can afford to spruce up the whole house. That's what big brands, small prices is all about at Mervyn's.
Introducing Cajun Catfish from Popeyes. Try Popeyes' new crispy catfish basket. 4 pieces of tender catfish with a mild New Orleans flavor served with fries, biscuit, and dipping sauce. Or the new catfish po' boy sandwich with tender crispy catfish, lettuce, pickles, and special sauce on a warm po' boy bread. Get the catfish basket or the catfish po' boy sandwich. Either one is only $3.99. If you'd prefer to love that chicken, right now an 11-piece mixed box from Popeyes is only $9.99.
Team 4 reports.
Oh, man.
Exclusive investigation.
Look, listen, and live.
Telling the untold stories.
I received death threats from the drug traffickers.
And making a difference.
It was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Your #1 source for news investigations in the Southland.
This is a target-rich environment.
She simply vanished.
Were you beaten?
Yes.
Team 4 reports, only on the Channel 4 News.
Back live in downtown Los Angeles, Fred Rogan, Tony Revis. Well, Tony.
2 hours, 42 minutes, and 10 seconds and counting into the 18th Los Angeles Marathon.
All right, let's get out to Chris Shalva real quickly. Chris.
Lonnie Richardson from Castaic. How you holding up, buddy?
Pretty good.
For you, what is this race about? Why are you running?
I'm just running.
No race.
Are you an experienced marathon runner?
Yes, I ran last year.
And for you, you said you've lived in Castaic for 10 years. Does this race get better and better for you?
Yes, it's a real good race. A lot of people.
A lot of fast times being turned in already. Are you hoping to set a certain time?
Yeah, at 3:30. Hopefully or better. Hi, Mom.
I was going to say, who's watching at home for you this year?
My mother and my son.
And hopefully they'll see you out here, huh?
Yeah.
What are you hearing from the other racers? Do you even talk while you're out here, or do you even, what do you say?
I talk to all of them, see where they're from. They're from all over the place. They're pretty good.
Feeding off the crowd?
Yeah. Crowd's helping out, calling out my name with my name on my tag nowadays. That's a good thing. First time.
And have you seen anything that just made you chuckle along the route?
Yeah, there's some guy with a big old afro. It was pretty funny.
Was he running, or was he just there for comic relief?
He was running. He's out here somewhere.
How's your pace? How you feel?
Pretty good.
You getting nourished?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They feed you a lot around here. It's like a picnic. Every stop, they feed you something.
Well, Lonnie Richardson, good luck to you, buddy. Thank you.
All right, Chris, thanks very much. Everybody's got a story, everybody out there for their own personal reasons.
This is what shoe manufacturers look at the marathon like. All they do is count shoes.
You know, you talk about how many runners there are, but how many feet are there in the marathon? That's the question, Tony.
50,000?
50,000 feet.
Indeed.
50,000 feet.
Oh, well,
give or take.
Well, except for the guy walking on his hands.
Exactly. All right, let's get out to Fritz Coleman at the finish line. Fritz.
Here we are at the Honda Awards presentation stage. Let me introduce the players. We have the gentleman who is the spiritual advisor and the founder of this whole event, Dr. William Burke, who's smiling broadly today. He thought he had a course record, but he knew when the sun hit him in his face, it wasn't going to happen. He's the man that made it happen. Mayor Hahn, huge supporter of the marathon. Jackie Joyner-Kersee, who we're very honored to have here. Of course, our men's and women's winner. And the senior vice president of American Honda, Mr. Hyogo. And now we're going to have Dr. Burke and the mayor present the wreaths, the official wreaths to our winners today. And we urge the audience to give them a round of applause. There it is. Wow. Just like they were at the end of that Athens to Sparta run, but the sneakers weren't as good. That's pretty exciting. Now Mr. Hyogo and Jackie will present the keys. It was difficult for them to find a Honda that was actually faster than the runners. That was the prerequisite. And Mr. Hyogo, I know you'd like to make some remarks.
Thank you, Fritz. Congratulations on winning the 18th City of Los Angeles Marathon. On behalf of American Honda, I'd like to present each of you with a brand Honda new Accord V6. Congratulations and enjoy your new Honda.
And since we have a three-peat, he's ready to start his own dealership, our men's winner. There it is, a very exciting day. Almost a record, a great day in the history of the marathon. We had more runners than ever before. Almost a record. We're off and running. Fred, back to you.
All right, Fritz, thanks very much. Well, Tony, we had an incredible effort today in the wheels. Men's performed admirably. Great effort in the women's race as well.
Well, right. Well, I can tell you, it's just the time bonuses. Not only did they win the Accord V6 and $25,000, but Yadic won a $10,000 time bonus for going under 2 hours and 10 minutes. And Tatiana won a $3,000 bonus for going under 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Here's how they finished.
Final results, Yadic and Dungu both under 2:10. They get the bonus. Benson BT taking third place for the second straight year. And Charles Kibbawat, one of the guys I thought was going to run well, was never really in it, but ran solid into fourth place.
All right, we'll take a look now at the women's final. And here's how they wrapped it up.
Well, Korchakina led until 22. Then Tatiana Pozniakova made her move and made it the winning move. Javila Balkanaita in third place. And Ora Buia from Romania getting ready for the, I believe, for the Country Music Marathon in Nashville later this year in fourth place. With a really good performance here in Los Angeles.
You know, given the course change and the weather today, are you impressed with these times?
Yeah, very much so, because the weather was deteriorating. Only in Southern Cal, only in marathoning would you call the weather we're having outside deteriorating as it goes higher into perfect 70 degrees. as everyone back in Washington and New York and Boston and Philly is suffering mightily. God bless them. So, yeah, this is a little bit tough near the end, and it'll be tough for the people behind us, the 25,000 people. But for the elites, they start early enough and they get enough miles behind them so they can run really fast times. And plus, the fields, Bill Orr did a really good job of bringing in really well-matched fields. The matchmaker is very important in marathoning.
All right, let's get out to Beverly White now. Beverly?
All right, we've got one of the runners right here, gentlemen, kind enough to take a breath on the approach to the 19th mile, Gilbert Moraga. How's it going?
It's going a little fine, a little tough, but I keep going. I'm running for my grandsons, Adrian, Anthony, and Alex. How you guys doing? Right. And I recognize your face, Beverly.
Well, thank you, Gilbert. Thank you for stopping.
Okay.
I don't want to slow down your time.
All right, thank you.
Take care, sir. All right, thank you, Gilbert. Another one of the dedicated runners right here in the Miracle Mile. Back to you.
It's pretty impressive. He didn't have real time to be on TV. You know, he wanted to set his time.
But you see him, the guy before him, Lonnie, he wasn't totally convinced that he was having a fun time. You could tell. How you doing? I'm running. I'm doing okay. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
All right, let's get out to Denise Valdez.
We are back here at the 15-mile mark at the water station with a very enthusiastic volunteer. You said this is your second year out here. You've got your pom-pom. Why do you come out all the time?
What time?
How come?
How fun? It's so much fun. Everybody's running, and you know, they appreciate our water, so it's really great to serve the water for runners. Yes.
You were saying that the runners thank you because you keep them, you keep their spirits up.
Yeah, and they keep saying when they pass the water, they say, right, you know, thank you. Everybody say thank you. It's so great, you know. We appreciate it.
You'll be back next year?
Definitely, I'll be back. Yes.
Get back to your station because these guys are thirsty. I've affectionately called this area the splash zone because you can see cups are just littered here on the streets, and we're starting to get a little bit of wet here. But Junko and some of the other volunteers don't seem to mind because they just want to be out here supporting the thousands of runners here. Now this is mile 15. We are really shoulder to shoulder now in the thick of things with all of these runners. We have noticed, though, that the pace has slowed down just a little bit. These are people who are not competing. They're actually just competing against their own personal time, running with friends, running with co-workers, running with family members. And we've seen more and more residents who live in this neighborhood along La Cienega come on out to cheer them. They bring in their dogs and applauding. This is really high energy up here. We've got music playing down the street and the volunteers lining up and down Pico Boulevard. The balloons are over the street. It's really a high atmosphere, high energy, and that's what a lot of these runners say they need at this point. This is the 15-mile point. They've got another 11 miles to go, and it's exciting just to be a part of it. So back to you guys.
All right, now Denise is out at the Honda water station, and Tony, we actually talked about this before we went on the air today. Everybody talks about how important it is to keep drinking water and hydrating, but now there's a feeling that you can actually drink too much water when you run.
Yeah, there's a couple of people have been in trouble in marathons in other parts of the country, and they think it's because there wasn't enough water on the course. As it turns out, they took too much water. And Alberto was talking about this to us the other day, and it throws out your electrolyte system. And too much water can actually be a problem, and people have died because they took too much water. It's counterintuitive, but it's true. You got to be careful with your intake, one way or the other. Too much is just as bad as not enough.
All right, more local folks. Back to the course and Chris Schabel.
Hi, how you doing? I'm Chris. Hey, Brian, how you doing, buddy? Where you from?
From San Diego.
And for you, what is this race all about?
Oh, this is about enjoying a nice day, being back in L.A. I moved down for a year ago to San Diego.
So you're originally from here, then?
I lived in Alhambra for 7 years.
Oh, wow. And for you, what is it that keeps you coming back?
Well, I think L.A. has a great mix ethnic groups. There's a great population, great weather. People here are very friendly.
And for you, how's the race been so far? Are you trying to beat a certain time? What's your goal for today?
Well, so far I'm on pace to beat 20 minutes off my last best time.
Oh, that's incredible. Is it the weather helping you or just better shape, better train?
The weather's doing great.
The weather's helping you?
Yeah.
Okay, so for you, is there someone at home that is watching this race saying, go, go, go?
My wife, Jessica, and my son, Luke. He's 4 months old.
Oh, congratulations. First kid?
Yep.
So you're giving him something to look forward to.
That's right. Maybe next time he's going to join me.
Well, thank you so much, and good luck.
Nice job, Chris. Chris out there with the local folks, and we want to put as many of them on as we can as we continue our coverage before we go off the air. Let's get out to Bev White, Bev.
We've got some happy runners going by. Yafet, tell me, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great. You know, I'm keeping a good strategy, keeping it, you know, steady and not too fast.
All right, good strategy. Not too fast, says the man. All right, Ben, way to go. We've seen a lot of very enthusiastic runners here in the Miracle Mile. Yes. All right, more folks running by. Wanted to say hello and catch their breaths approaching the 19th mile. Just thought we'd share that with you. Of course, behind us in the distance, there's an entertainment stage, and folks have been picking up the beat of the music and running accordingly as they round the bend here from Fairfax and Wilshire, approaching the 19th mile. Lots of energy, surprisingly so this late in the race, but again, these folks are dedicated from get-go, and they're having a great time. Beverly White, back to you.
All right, Bev. Bev out there with the people, and there are a lot more on the course, a lot we're going to show you, so stay with us. We'll continue with the 18th Los Angeles Marathon.
The LA Marathon is sponsored by Honda.
Roll sound. It's going to take one. Okay. How many marathons have you run?
Technically none. None.
0. 3. 4. Uh-huh. Let's see you run. What am I running from? Bang! Oh, yeah. And say hi to your friends. What's happening?
I'm running. Hey.
Leg cramp. Oh.
Oh.
Okay, that's enough.
Actually, I do have a leg cramp.
And you cross the finish line. And victory dance.
Only in L.A.
Oh, yeah.
The Los Angeles Marathon, presented by Honda.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
If this is the year you're going to lose weight, do it with Xenadrin EFX.
I'll never look like that again.
Xenadrin means business.
Xenadrin EFX is the first diet supplement of its kind, clinically proven to deliver dramatic results without ephedrine.
Believe me, this stuff really works.
I can't believe that was me. How's this for results?
Xenadrin EFX, the guaranteed easiest and fastest way to take off the weight.
Finally, something that works.
At GNC.
You know you're looking good. You're in your neighborhood and you see all the people in the street now. You know you're feeling fine. You're out in the sunshine and you feel the grass beneath your feet now. In my mind I can see your picture. You are smiling and waving at the camera. In my mind I can see the colors you are wearing, not like any other.
I feel like she hates me right now. I'm gonna try to give her another call again.
Verizon voicemail. You have
Catherine home.
didn't care if you hung around me. I didn't care if you went away. All I need is a miracle. All I need is you. All I need is a miracle.
Verizon. Make progress every day.
Back live in downtown Los Angeles, the LA Marathon continuing. Your fans, your friends, your family, your neighbors are on the course. We are coming to you from our broadcast position at Arco Plaza. Let's get out to the course, and a man who says, show me the love, Chris Schauble. Chris.
All right, we're at mile 21 on 3rd Street. Great person I want you all to meet. Go ahead and say your name.
My name is Missy Shepard.
You live here in L.A.?
I live in Brentwood.
And why are you running?
I'm running for a challenge to see how super I can do. You believe in yourself, you can do anything.
Now, what do you do for a living?
I'm a school teacher. I teach middle school PE in East LA.
So you are not just walking the walk, are you? You're walking the talk, so to speak.
Every day.
Say that again.
I teach this every day.
Who do you have out here with you today? Did you convince any of your students or anyone else to come out?
27 of my students are students from LA, and they've been training for this all school year long.
How are they doing? Any idea?
I've only seen one of them, and they were doing fantastic.
How are you doing?
Positive mental attitude. Believe in the Lord, and you can do anything.
Show me that again.
Positive mental attitude. It's my motto, it's my tattoo, it's my license plate, it's my motto for life.
And for you, how are you doing on a personal time? Have you done this before?
Yes, my 5th marathon, my 3rd LA marathon. I'm right on schedule for like 3:25.
Wow. So for you, what will that be? Personal best?
My personal best.
A lot. Is the cool temperatures really helping you out?
Much better. It's great.
How did you train for this one?
Snowboarding, teaching spin classes. I don't run. I cross-train. I swim, I teach spin, I snowboard every weekend.
And how do you know, based on the fact that you cross-train, if you're having a good preparatory session in terms of leading up to the marathon?
I train with a heart rate monitor, so I'm very in tune with my body. I know how I feel, how I breathe. I know myself in any situation, how to pace myself.
Great local story, and good luck to you.
Thanks, Chris. She's entirely too fit.
I mean, that's exactly the kind of woman you want teaching children.
Exactly. Yeah, what an inspiration. Focused, and as he said, not only does she talk the talk, she is walking the walk.
3:25, I mean, that is, you know, that's running. That's a little bit more than 7 minute per mile pace. And you can say she looked good. She was late in the race. She still had her PMA working.
Right.
And she looked fit. I mean, exactly. How do the kids not learn from something like that? It's the best. The Students Run LA is literally the best program in the world of marathon. It's
really
literally the best. I've been all of these marathons. That's literally, it does the best work.
Take a look at the men's finish one more time, Tony. I want you to talk about where the Kenyans ate last night.
Oh, right. We had, as we were looking at Mark Yadich on the right, sprint home in front of Stephen Ndungu, the disappointed but valiant Stephen Ndungu. Last night, Chef Antonio Ramirez of the Wilshire Grand Hotel invited all the Kenyans into his kitchen, and they cooked their native dish, ugali.
Nice touch.
It was, and they all had their little white hats on, the big chef's hats on, and there was like 20 guys in there, and we went upstairs in the hospitality suite, and we all ate ugali, which is their starch diet. They eat it every darn day. Every day they eat it, not because they like it. It's because it's bland enough where it won't upset their stomach. They are willing to give up interesting tasting food so that they don't ruin their training. That's, again, how focused they are in this marathon business.
So they invited him in. Whip it up yourself.
Exactly. They didn't know how to make it.
Let's go on to Denise Valdez. Denise.
Well, Fred, I think this is one of the first runners we've seen. This is Blanca Sanchez from Southgate, and you're running with your cell phone? What's that all about?
Talking to my husband and my kids and my grandkids.
Does it help pass the time?
Yeah.
Now, why isn't your family out here running with you instead of talking with you on the phone?
Well, they don't like running. I'm the only runner in the family.
You said this is your third marathon. What's your best time so far?
4:30.
4:30. You've been out here for about 3 hours, so you're about on time.
Yeah, well, we started a little bit late because there was too many people, so we have to walk.
Let's wave to hopefully your husband and your family, and they're watching.
Bye, Beto. Bye, Jared and Joseph.
Blanca Sanchez from Southgate, thanks for talking with us, and don't talk on that phone too much. It's unsafe.
I'll tell
Back to you guys.
She's got a heck of a cell phone battery.
Oh, that's exactly what came to my mind.
And she's using a lot of minutes, too.
All right, I'm here with Skeeter. Skeeter, what's your real name, buddy?
My real name is Cliff Thomas.
How long you lived in LA?
18 years. I moved down here in 1985.
And for you, what marathon is this?
This is my fifth one for Los Angeles, number 8 overall. I ran one in San Francisco and New York in 1992. And this is probably the best one for me because the weather is great. I'm feeling good. And there you have it.
For you, what is the best way to train as you've now done your fifth?
Well, the best way to train is to basically run nonstop. I do a lot of hill training. I train up at Griffith Park. I don't particularly belong to any kind of running team, like a training team, but I just run every chance I get. I train on hills, and I push my body very hard, and I apply Dianetics, which basically means that you don't let your mind stop you from doing anything. You can overcome your body, and basically all the marathons that I've run, I basically just hit it hard, and you know, I don't let my body rule me.
And you said the weather's really helping you today?
Oh yeah, because I like hot weather. And basically, so long as I keep enough water going in my body, I don't dehydrate. And you know, the sunshine is brings out the people. And the people get you pumped up. They're very supportive, and that helps a lot. I have to tell you, it really helps a lot. And I tell you, this is definitely the best one I've ever run.
You got anybody watching at home?
I wish my wife was. I wish my wife Miriam was watching, but anyway, we have to get it on video.
Yeah, I was gonna say, she's probably like, honey, if you make TV, great.
Oh,
Skeeter,
I can't wait.
Thank you so much, and good luck to you, buddy.
Thank you very much. See you, man.
All right, more of your friends, family members, people you know, but a lot of folks you don't, but you should meet as we continue our coverage of the 18th Los Angeles Marathon.
The LA Marathon is sponsored by Honda.
Introducing the Pilot. Built by Honda. With 4-wheel drive and a quadruple 5-star safety rating. Invent a shortcut.
You can afford to spruce up the whole house. That's what big brands, small prices is all about at Mervyn's.
If you're like most people, you probably shopped around for a deal on your car. You probably even shop around for your gas. Why are you spending so much for auto insurance? Compared to other national insurance companies, Mercury saves you money.
I'm Danny Freeman. I saved $1,270 by switching to Mercury Insurance.
With over 2,000 agents and brokers, Mercury is ready to help save you money. Call 1-888-4MERCURY now or click on trustmercury.com.
Target a rock. With war on the horizon, trust the worldwide expertise of NBC News and NBC4.
We will bring you live reports from the Persian Gulf with our exclusive maps so you can understand exactly what's happening.
We will keep you informed about how we're being affected at home here in the Southland.
And we'll work with NBC, MSNBC, and CNBC
to bring you the most accurate information fast.
For all the news you need about Iraq, turn to 4 first.
Back live in downtown Los Angeles, there's a shot of the finish line, and you can see people are beginning to finish now. Coming up next, the dynamic duo of quarterback Tony Graziani and offensive specialist Chris Jackson will lead the Avengers against Georgia. The Staples Center kickoff is set for noon, and if you are headed over to see the Avengers, I might add the Pico off-ramp is open. Pico and the 110 is open. You got a good shot to get in there. Let's get out to Chris Schabel. Chris.
All right, I'm here with a young lady who caught our attention because she was really revving up the crowd. Go ahead and say your name and where you're from.
Mel Gong from Sacramento, California.
Woo, Mel. All right. Now, for you, what is this race all about? What gets you motivated?
I want to do my personal best. What gets me motivated? My good friends and my family.
Now, are any
Thanks,
of them,
Dad.
Are any of them waterproof right now?
Oh, yeah. 22nd mile in between the 22nd and the 23rd. They'll be up there.
Really?
Yep.
Maybe we should stick around and watch this reunion.
You should.
So you're already confident you're setting a personal best right now?
I think so, yeah.
And is it the weather just really helping you?
Not really.
Better training, huh?
That's right. LA's beautiful weather, but for a marathon, whoa.
And for you, what marathon is this for you?
This is my second full LA marathon.
And for you, what keeps you coming back? Just the desire to do better?
Oh my gosh, yes. And it feels so good. I feel like I'm flying.
And for you, and you know you're in the home stretch, only a few more miles to go. And for you, how do you feel at this point? You feel nourished? You feel good?
I feel really good. I feel nourished. That's a good way to put it. And I don't know. I just feel good.
Well, let me tell you, that smile is worth $1 million. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
She's got a lot of gas left in the tank.
That's why people run the marathon. I mean, it does give you a feeling. It's a tremendous feeling it's possible to do, but you can't do it cheap. You got to earn it. You have to make this investment, and once you make the investment and you deliver it on race day, there's this overwhelming feeling that you get, and that young lady expressed it beautifully.
You know, if people are watching this year and they're thinking, I'd like to give that a shot next year, it is not impossible for anyone to really come out here and compete, but you have to train properly, you have to do it in steps, and then you have to build up the ability to go the distance.
There's a lot of track clubs in the area. I called the Los Angeles Marathon office. Pat Conley, a former Olympic coach, she helps train athletes who call up that want to run the LA Marathon. There's a lot of help out there to do it, and believe me, it is worth all the effort. It's waking up too early, running too late at night, skipping meals, skipping parties, but when you get finished with it, it gives you a feeling that you just don't get anywhere else.
And physically, Tony, because you've been there, physically, what does that do? How does it make you feel?
Well, again, it's essentially it's endorphins, it's drugs, it's the body's opiates, and it's a great feeling, and it just lasts for it lasts on a daily basis, really. All is right with the world. It's that feeling. All is right with the world.
And once you have achieved that feeling, once you've experienced it once, it's something you don't want to give up.
No, The first time you do a marathon, a lot of times you'll say, geez, I'll never do that because it hurts. But after a while, you say, you know, I can do better than that the next time. And you instantly go back and start training again. It gives you something that our daily life doesn't give us. The Kenyans don't have to do it because they're walking to and from school or tending the animals or farming their fields. But in this modern society we live in, it's hard to get that feeling unless you go out there and do something physical on an extended basis. And marathoning is a perfect goal to have in order to make you do it.
In case you missed the finish of the men's and women's races, here's how it ended up.
Yadic in a personal best of big victory after a second 3 years ago. Dungu, his streak of 2 victories in a row broken, but not by much. Benson Beatty, third for the second straight year. Charles Kibawat with a fine 4th place. Women's side, Tatiana Pozniakova moved up a step on the podium this year from her second last year in a magnificent performance. Korchikina, that was the best time for her. Ora Buia in 3rd, and Bauchinaita from Lithuania, a young talent, moving up in 3rd place. In 4th place, rather.
All right, let's get back out of the course now. Are we going to Pat Healy? Let's go to Chris Schauble, Chris.
All right, I'm here with a young lady. Go ahead and tell me your name.
JJ Little!
And where you from?
Walker Center / Beverlywood.
Now this is fun because these 2 party crashers just jumped onto the course to give you some support. Is it a nice emotional boost?
Of course, I couldn't do without them. Pretty good. It's a lot of fun to see all of LA and everything.
Now, have you ever run a marathon before?
One other.
Was that the LA Marathon?
Yeah, 2001.
And how are you doing in comparison to that?
I think I'm on the same pace.
Same pace?
Yeah.
Now the weather might help you do better.
No.
You're like, no.
I'm in sunburned.
How did you train?
With these cool girls right here.
Now they're your emotions. Did you know that they were going to join you near the end?
Yep, so looking forward to it, kept me going, knowing that I'd have them.
Now, you got anybody watching at home?
My brother, maybe, from lucky. Oh, CVHS, my 10th grade world history student. If you see this, I'll give you extra credit. Extra credit, remember, on Monday.
All right, a history teacher doing the marathon. Ladies, thank you so much.
You know, wouldn't it be great if everybody in life had somebody running by them with a fan?
It's like 1 out of every 3 people. There's a teacher.
Patrick Healy, go ahead, Pat. Go ahead, Pat.
All right, this is a real challenge. This is trying to do the marathon backwards. Shadrach, are you crazy?
Well, I'm not insane.
Now, you've got a magic elixir that helps you run backwards. Tell us about the magic elixir.
It includes celery juice.
Oh, watch out, we got traffic.
I see them. Celery juice, parsley juice, carrot juice, and lemon juice. And lots of...
It must work. Now, what is the advantage of running backwards?
After 40 years, I have to remember everything in the road. I have to know where I'm at all times. I can't forget. So I have no forgetfulness.
Now, some people, you know, some people cheat. They turn into a walk. What do? Do you cheat and turn around and go forward?
I never turn around. If I have to go to a walk, I walk backwards.
Shadrach, you're the man. 13 miles to go. Go get him. Shadrach carries on backwards.
26.2 miles. It's not long enough. You have to do it backwards.
There's all kinds out there. There's no doubt about that.
All right, stay with us. More from downtown Los Angeles at our broadcast position at the Arco Plaza when we continue.
The LA Marathon is sponsored by Mervyn's, proud sponsor of the women's race in the LA Marathon.
Moose are the largest of the deer family and vary in size and shape. Their color ranges from a light brown to a dusty or mule deer. Dye at the tip under wet through to the skin, like tiles on a roof. They coat their feathers with oil from a special gland and constantly preen to keep those include mallards, red-tips, pintails, frogs, witches, gadwells.
You can afford to spruce up the whole house. That's what big brands, small prices is all about at Mervyn's.
Champions ride Hondas. Now and in the future. Honda XRs. They're a head start.
2 years after the telephone was invented, a telephone company was born. "125 years of sweat. "125 years of building networks. "125 years of getting the job done. The fact is, after 125 years, we are just getting started. Looking back, moving forward. SBC.
Back live in downtown Los Angeles, people continuing down the course, people continuing to finish the race. Let's get out to Mario Solis. Mario.
Thank you, Fred. About time. There's a reason why I'm still wearing the jacket. I'm trying to warm up here. Now, most of the racers, most of the participants in this marathon do it for personal reasons, personal satisfaction. However, others have more noble causes. For example, Team Parkinson 2003. This is one of 50 official charities that are participating in the marathon. Let's talk to one of the members of Team Parkinson. What is your name, please?
My name is Jean Marcus.
Now, Jean Marcus, tell us a little about this cause, please.
Yes, this is Team Parkinson, raising money for research. My husband, Daniel Marcus, died of Parkinson last July. So he had a dream of 10 women pushing his wheelchair each 1 mile, and he was going to raise $10,000 for Parkinson research. Well, he had his number already, but he didn't make it. So I'm wearing his number, and 10 of the women who helped take care of him while he was so very ill, they're joining in the team, and we're doing this to let people know about Parkinson's. But it's a great thing that we can do this to let people know. This is our daughter, Joni, and all of our friends along with us.
You do a terrific job. Thank you. All right, back to you.
Noble cause, no question about that.
Yeah, the marathon's there for everyone and anyone, whether you're just a pure runner or you've got something to prove. It gives you a purpose. It gives you a lattice work on which to build anything.
All right, let's get out to Patrick Healy. Pat.
We're on Pico Boulevard with a couple of the high schoolers running for Student Runs LA. Ladies, identify yourselves and tell us where you're from.
I'm Ruth from Cams, and I live in Inglewood.
And who's your...
And I'm Lynette from Cams, and I live in Compton.
Now, first marathon for you ladies?
Yeah.
What do you think? You're 15 miles in now.
It's okay.
I gotta say, you look great. You're not breathing hard. You look cool. You must have done a lot of training.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, you can say that.
How much do you have left for the final 11 miles?
Not sure. A little bit of energy.
Who's out here rooting for you today?
My mom and my sisters.
Where are they located?
At the finish line.
Oh, okay. So you have to finish then.
Yeah.
To see your rooting section.
Yeah, basically.
All right, well, Viva Cams High School, they're carrying on. Only 11 miles to go. Go get them, ladies.
I cannot believe, because when we put this thing together, Tony, we were talking about how we were going to cover it. Pat said, I'm going to run the course. And we said, sure you are. And he's still running. He's still running.
He's motivated to, well, to know that the other people out there sort of bring your energy up. You run by yourself, it's a one feeling. You put 25,000 people out there next to you, and somehow you're energized by that process.
And if you're being chased, you really run.
Well, you also get cute young ladies to talk to. That'll sort of inspire you as well.
All right. We'll continue from downtown Los Angeles. We're going to try to put more of your friends and your family members on TV here before we get off the air. Stay with us. The 18th Los Angeles Marathon continues.
The LA Marathon is sponsored by Honda.
If you could have a voice-activated satellite-linked navigation system, surrounded by a spacious leather-trimmed interior, where you can stretch out and enjoy a dual-zone automatic climate control system, and appreciate the acceleration of a 240-horsepower V6 engine, and if you could have it all in a Honda Accord, why wouldn't you? The all-new 2003 Accord EX V6 from Honda.
When you can hear your wedding song 8 different ways. When you can see sunny skies ahead. When you can pick tulips over roses and chicken instead of beef. When you can get a reminder of why you're marrying him. When you can do all this with a calling plan starting at $19.99 a month. That's M-Life from AT&T Wireless. Right now, get a free Motorola 120T phone after $50 mail-in rebate. Hurry in or call 1-888-MY-M-Life today.
My neighbors think I'm an expert gardener. I get lots of compliments, and they're asking me questions. So I say, go to Armstrong Garden Centers. They've got the real experts, and they're so nice. They help you choose from thousands of flowers and roses and shrubs, trees, and beautiful things for decorating.
Fill your garden in senses with fragrance from the beautiful Lavender Lady Lilac from Monrovia.
Got quiet around here, didn't it? I wonder where my neighbors are.
Armstrong Garden Centers. Imagine what we can do for you.
Team 4 reports.
Oh, man.
Exclusive investigation.
Look, listen, and live.
Telling the untold stories.
I received death threats from the drug traffickers.
And making a difference.
It was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Your #1 source for news investigations in the Southland.
This is a target-rich environment.
She simply vanished.
Were you beaten?
Yes.
Team 4 reports, only on the Channel 4 News.
All right, welcome back to our broadcast position at Arco Plaza. Tony Revis, a pleasure today. Great work.
We had a blast. We had the 2nd fastest men's time in the history of the Los Angeles Marathon and the 5th fastest women's time, and great stories by the 25,000 and following in their wake.
You have to like the new course.
No, exactly. I think the proof's in the pudding, and they ran fast even though the weather was starting to climb a little bit near the end. I think they go even faster, get a little cloud cover.
Enjoyed every minute of it. Thanks again.
As did I. Thanks. See you next year.
All right, let's get out to the course now, and Chris Schabel. Chris?
All right, my final thoughts on the day are this. This has been a spectacular race, but this woman right here, Melody, has more courage in her pinky than I have in my entire body. And we're going to get together with Melody right now. Melody, go ahead and tell me your last name and where you're from.
Melody Williamson from Lancaster, California. Having a great time, and the course is a lot tougher, but I'm getting through it.
Can I just say you're such an inspiration to so many people. What motivates you to be a part of this marathon?
I can give it all to the Lord. He's my Savior, and I'm just happy to be a part of this marathon today.
You got anybody at home watching?
All my Christian fellowship members at the Last Stop Before Heaven Full Gospel Church, people in L.A., just everybody.
Well, you're almost done. Good luck to you. My final thoughts, this is what it's all about. Look at this beautiful woman.
You know, during the course of the year here in Los Angeles, we do have a Miracle Mile. Today we have 26 Miracle Miles. It's all about determination. It's all about faith. And it's all about effort, right? It's all about a goal.
It is. My first marathon. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it all the way running. Woohoo! On pace. You guys are helping pace me. I hope I don't get just DQ'd because of you guys.
All right, that about wraps it up. So one day a year, I guess, the city of L.A. can get along.
We're on Pico Boulevard with Tatiana and Sandra, exponents of the peace movement during the race today. Now, when you entered this race, did you know you were going to be making a statement?
No, but then it became apparent I needed to make a statement for peace.
And Sandra, how about you? Now, I see New York City being remembered, but I don't see any peace symbols.
Well, I'm running with her, so I agree with her beliefs. I'm for New York. She's for New York and peace.
I see. 11 miles to go. You feeling strong?
I feel strong, and if this makes George Bush listen to the people, then yay!
More power to us.
Yay, more power to us. We want peace.
Tatiana and Sandra, it's more than a race to them. It's a statement.
All right, closing thoughts from here in the Miracle Mile. It's an amazing parade of humanity. Everybody having a great time. It's exhilarating, and the only complaint we might have is being downwind from the liniment location. We're hearing a lot of, smelling a lot of the Bengay treatment, so to speak, but it's all good. Wouldn't you agree?
It's all good, but it's heavy duty, man. I'm telling you, it's heavy duty.
But a lot of fun. We've had a great time today. Back to you.
Well, you know, I'm almost embarrassed to say I'm an LA native, and I have never been to the LA Marathon.
and this is what I've been missing. You mentioned at the top of the broadcast, running is a democratic sport, and here we've seen the best of the best, the elite runners and the everyday runners. The enthusiasm, the excitement has been terrific, so thanks for including me. Fred, or actually Bob, back to you.
What a banner day for LA, and undoubtedly a banner day also for the wheelchair. Saul Mendoza wins it 6 times, and he comes across in 1:27:04, course record. Outstanding day, great races on all ends. Catherine?
Final thoughts from me. I have 3. What a banner day also for all the population in this country. Nearly the majority, who's over 40, with Tatiana Pozniakova winning the women's race in a world record time for her age group. Testimony to longevity, good health, and youth. It's fantastic. Second thought is that Los Angeles still continues to be a wonderful forum for the developing runner. Wonderful runners from Kenya, Lithuania, Guatemala getting their first break here. And the third thought is to thank Mervyn's for their sponsorship of the women's section of the race. That's the first time we've ever done that, and that's great. Thanks.
All right, Catherine, thanks. Outstanding job today. Outstanding job out there with the women. And now I think we're going to go to Alberto. Are we going to get Alberto or no? All right, we're going to work. We want to hear the thoughts of Alberto Salazar as well, who was out there with the men's elite field today.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go to Alberto now.
Very competitive race on the men's side. We had a huge pack, around 15 to 20 runners, all the way through about 18 to 20 miles. They looked like they were going to run under 2:09. But finally, by about 3 or 4 miles to go, defending champion Stephen Ndungo had started to take control. Markiewicz was the only one to stay with him, and at that point, it became a cat and mouse game. Markiewicz stayed right behind Ndungo until just 100 meters to go. Heartbreaking loss for Ndungo. It would have been his 3rd win in a row, but great effort on his part. Markiewicz winning in the last 100 meters, breaking the 2:10 barrier, asserting that Los Angeles is not just a race for the 25,000 people that run it, which is about the 4th or 5th biggest marathon in the world, but it's also a race where men can come and women and run personal record times. Great race today, great times, but most of all, great competition.
Alberto, thanks. Terrific job, and we really appreciate you being with us. At the beginning of the race, I asked the question, why would anyone want to run 26.2 miles? Well, after watching the race, the answer is really crystal clear. For the elite field, it was about winning. Countless hours of training and sacrifice to be considered the best in your sport. But for our runners, the folks from Southern California, ones that did it not for notoriety, not for money, the ones that did it to challenge themselves, to achieve goals, to push themselves to the limit only they could realize and then understand they could achieve more. These are the true heroes of today, because they did something that will not make headlines in the paper. They accomplished something very personal, something that can never be taken away from them, something they will cherish for the rest of their lives. And we hope you enjoyed our broadcast of the 18th Los Angeles Marathon. The executive producer and director of the Los Angeles Marathon is Phil Olsman. Producing today, along with Phil, was Charlie Rosine. Next on Channel 4, NBC Sports live coverage of the Avengers hosting Georgia at Staples Center. Before we go, let's get out to Pat Healy one more time. Pat.
Fred, what an incredible day this is. I have to tell you, we've made so many friends, seen so many fascinating stories of courage, personal sagas. It's an inspiration is what it is.
Well, Pat, don't stop now. Go ahead, Pat. Talk to your friends out there for a sec. Go ahead.
All right. Let's talk to this man right here. Tell me your name and where you're from.
From Los Angeles. Hi, Jose Luis.
All right.
I'm tired. A little tired, but I can make it.
All right, good. Go for it. Where are you from?
Los Angeles.
What inspired you to do the marathon?
Oh, nothing, just my dad and the love of the sport.
Who you got rooting for you today?
My mom and my grandma.
All right. We're coming up to mile 16, and these folks, they still got their energy left.
All right, Pat. Well, Tony, they're still out there. They're still moving along.
It's a unique, irreplaceable day in the life of a city in search of a center, and for one day a year, this is that center. It's the only thing like it in the life of the city. We say it's the Rose Parade's the next closest thing, but that's up in Pasadena. This goes through the entirety of Los Angeles, and one day binds it all together.
Tony, again, great job. I really enjoyed it.
Oh,
Maybe we'll see you next year.
Look forward to it.
So, for our entire crew here, behind the camera and in front, I'm Fred Rogan. Thank you for watching our presentation, and good afternoon from Arco Plaza.
Your one-stop style